It seems like you're mad that you didn't do the exposing video first.
I should have done the exposing tweet.
Sounds like
bro.
you're mad. You know, you did tell me in an email that you were planning on doing it and you were like 98% of the way done, and then this guy beat you to it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show the fucking receipts.
Show
man.
the receipt.
Expose Jesse. Expose. I'm gonna Photoshop some real ding dong that you never
Hell
said that
yeah.
you did say and tweet it out.
Love it.
And get you canceled.
All press is good press, you know.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talking about all the progress things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jesse Kazam.
And I'm Veritas. Tired, and I started early today. Played a lot of Tarkov. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw you get on early. You were on. What time did you get on? I think you got on before my morning stream.
I don't know, like 8.
Yeah, you got on well before
9-ish.
my morning stream. So I saw you on. I saw you playing Tarkov. In the back of my head, I was like, "Damn, is he gonna last 10 hours of Tarkov?" And then later, I saw you playing Outer Wilds. I was like, "Nope." Which, no shame, I wouldn't last 10 consecutive hours.
If there was a fucking loadout preset button where I could just be like, spend 200K,
yeah,
load me out in one button,
yeah,
get back into a queue,
yeah,
I could play 15 hours of Tarkov.
Yeah. And if you could
even
hear,
with the bullshit,
and if you could see,
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But the last few days have been. It really is like, I'd say 50% of my raids are like really good.
Yeah.
And then the other 50% are just
yeah,
exhausting bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw you got Kappa.
I did, finally.
Nice,
it was
nice.
dude, I will say this was the most like slog of getting Kappa. Like it was like so many quests left. Something clicked in my brain and I was like, I don't want to be doing this. But like,
yeah,
I really like, I understand people are like, just don't do it. But like, I don't know why. Like, I'm not trying to defend my logic. It's poor logic, but I just needed to do it. I just needed to be done with it. And just like, I don't know. It's just like the little goal you set for yourself. And I'd gotten so close and I had done so much. And it was just like, I just want to do it. I was close enough that I had decided I was going to do it. So I get when people are like, just don't. But I was like, long line took me so long this time, killing people on interchange. I sat, for 5 consecutive stream days, I sat camping the pier and woods and this. I completed capturing outposts, and then 2 days later, they removed it from Kappa requirement.
Yeah, wrecked.
Dude, it was
the early
just
bird sometimes gets by the worm.
Yeah, it. Yes. It was a grind. Luckily, I had every single Kappa item that I needed before I got the collector quest. So it was just like turn them all in. It was literally just the quest grind. And then
I think I have everything as well.
Yeah.
I might be missing one thing.
All the stuff that was really hard to find, like the Gingy keychain and the Willer's wallet, they're on scavs now. So like I found a billion of them.
I find 3 Gingy keychains a day.
Exactly. It's so
one Willer's wallet, but
so I got the goons. Okay, so you know the Halloween event last year, they added those green flares that made scavs friendly to you. You remember?
I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
so as part of the event, it was like you'd shoot off a green flare and the scavs are going to be friendly to you for a certain amount of time. It was like 5 minutes or whatever, and they'd all come up and you could just like hang out with them. Well, that flare is still in the game. It's very rare. It's called the DSF, Distress Signal Flare. It's only shot out of the flare gun. And they're super rare. And I got one. One of Elian's viewers gave me one, or he's one of my viewers too. He was like, "Yo, I have one." So you can put the flare in your secure container, but you can't put the flare gun in your secure container. So I was like, I really want to just get the goons this way. I needed the goons. And so
wait, even the goons will be friendly?
Even the goons will be friendly to you. So I needed night. I only needed night. And so I spent probably 2 to 3 million rubles on the flare guns, because every time you die, you lose the flare gun. And you do a barter from Jaeger. You have to buy a bunch of stuff. And it was
handgun?
Yeah, the flare handgun. It goes in your pistol
I've got
slot.
a couple of those.
And you lose it if you die. And I finally got him. We were on customs. We threw a nade. We heard him talk, shoot the flare, and then they all just walk up to you. But what sucks is that I only needed night. And as soon as you start shooting, they aggro. They don't have collision with each other. So if they're together and they all go, let's move from here to here, they're all inside of each other and they're just walking. And I'm like, I'm not going to freaking, if I shoot it at this clump of people and kill Bird Eye and Night kills me, I'm going to be pissed. So we were just like walking around with them and then Night broke off. And so I just like lit him up and then Velian killed the other two and we got it. And it was like, that was kind of a meme. It was fun.
Impact nade, holy
the
fuck,
only
did you
thing
get all of them.
I wanted to do that. The only thing I was worried about is if pulling the pin on the nade would aggro them. You know what I mean? And I didn't want like anything weird to happen. I didn't know if that was how it worked.
And by the nanosecond you pull the thing,
You're
that
dead.
instantly 180.
You're dead, bro. So I was like,
I doubt that.
if I needed all three, I would have done that way. But I was like, I only need Night, so let me just do it. So we got that. But yeah, we got Kappa. But yeah, man, I feel you. It's like, it's definitely rough out there right now. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, the good raids feel really good. I've been having a lot of fun playing Streets. I love that map so much. Like, for all the crap we give BSG, rightfully so, that map is so good. And I'm excited for all of the expansions, and my original criticism still stands where I wish there was a little bit more verticality and I could go up on some of the roofs and stuff like that. But man, does it still 2 months into the wipe, I still am just like walking down a street and I just like free look around and I'm like, this is so cool. We've gotten so many like military compounds and wooded areas and radar towers and every, you know, all the maps, it's and they're so good. But just like, so walking down a street, a highway, and being in an apartment or something, it just like, it feels so cool. It feels so good. It feels so post-apocalyptic or whatever. I love that map so much. So I've been playing on the streets, and when the raids are good, man, they're so good. It's fun.
Yeah.
But it's just like the math. It's the math we talk about every time, where it's like almost all of your firefights end in something that makes you mad at the game and not like inwardly reflecting. You know what I mean? Just like we were
and
like
these days after like all day playing all day, even if it's like, okay, that was a fine fight, like nothing really super bad. It's like I'm thinking about, okay, well, I mean, like I really wanted to run the AK, but I already ran one and went through all my BP ammo, and then I just bought the MP7 and bought all the mags, and then FMJ, and I just died shooting 2 of the mags of FMJ, so I'm out of FMJ, and then I've already gone through my 8.56A1, so I can't do that, and it's like running through the
checklist.
Build another gun, and then build another gun, and then it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, I've been finding it really hard to like, even if I get into a really good engagement, get out of the raid. Like, it just feels like, you know, you do anything and then the whole map, it's either a swarm of player scavs that like try and gobble you up, or like I was on reserve and you never, like, all the fighting happens down low on reserve. I was trying to help Ben. We were looking for like Gluhar and doing some quests, and we killed a 3-man, and then Ben died. And so I was like, I ditched his stuff and I was looting. And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, a 3-man swarms my position. And I was like, man, they know exactly where I am. And I come around the corner and I shoot this guy in the face 3 times, and then he one-taps me, and I'm just like, man, like I couldn't have even just had a W. I was just like looking at the loot. I was trying to do it. And it turns out we think that guy was cheating. Anyways, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's when it's good, man. But like, yeah, it's been just the pancake audio, the desync is just like so bad.
Dude, I've been having, honestly, a ton of good shoreline runs.
Yeah.
Where I've been like wiping. At one point, I wiped like a 3-man and then a 2-man, and then the raid after that, I killed 1 dude. I was literally in West Wing, and I hear like a couple of footsteps, and I'm right at the top on the 3rd floor by the hole.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like I hear footsteps, and all of a sudden, I hear like a firefight.
Really?
And it's like, what the just happened? And then I hear a guy go into a room and heal, and I instantly jump down, push him, spray him, kill him. I turn the corner, and there's 5 dudes, all dead, level 5-6 armor, HK, meta HKs, all of them. And it's like, oh, just trying to loot everything. And it's like, I wish there was loot exfils, and you know, because I can only insurance, and it was during Punisher too, so it's like I got to drop my SVD, which means I'm going to get it back in insurance after I'm done with it.
The quest. Yeah.
But
dude, when playing with a duo or any amount of people, shoreline, like the resort is just unplayable because not like normally it's just you need good comms. You're like, okay, I'm on this floor, so then you can get it. But like there's a guy in the basement, I'm on first floor, Ben's on second floor, there's a guy on the roof. We all sound
you lose
like
eye contact.
Yeah, and exactly, it's just like expect a team kill because you know what I mean? I don't know what else to do.
Dude, I had the weirdest death today ever where I'm almost convinced. This is the first time where I'm almost convinced that the person was using like a lag switch.
Oh, interesting.
It was such a unique situation. I was in dorms, 214, the one with the safe at the end of the second floor.
Okay.
Top of the metal stairs.
Yeah.
And I hear a guy coming up the stairs. And I peek out and I have like a decked out AK with BP.
Okay.
And I hit him. So all chest and stomach. Hit. 9 shots. He goes, bah, 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 bah. And then I'm like, I think my gun got caught on the door jam. So it kind of went like this. Took a step back, went forward, came out the door, and went bang, bang, and then SVD one tap, and I was dead. So he had a giant backpack, no armor, no helmet, standard account, TV in his name, wasn't a streamer, 0 hits registered.
Dang.
It's like it could have been desync, but the fact that he was standing there and his legs were, he was like walking in place, makes me think he saw me and went flick, disconnected himself from the server, popped a bunch of rounds in, connected back to the server, kaboom. Like,
dang.
I don't know if that's a thing or whatever, but it felt so much different than your standard run-of-the-mill desync that I've seen and felt a million times before.
Dang.
Just the fact that he had 0 armor. Oh, it was SVD with no attachments, giant bag, no body armor, no helmet, TV in his name,
it's like
standard
you
account.
Can't say for sure, but all the math adds up. Like
he's got every indication,
right?
Yeah,
every one possible. Where each of them on their own isn't enough, but when every single thing, that's weird, bro. I had like,
and then he instantly declined my friend request after the raid too.
I had the most blatant cheater in a long time kill me. Like my experience with cheaters is most of the if I die to 100 cheaters, 99 of them are the ones where they just have like ESP or radar, and I like, you know what I mean? And I would never know. It's like I run around the corner, he killed me, and I would never know. Like, I'm sure I die to cheaters all the time, but I don't really have like stream snipers. I don't have a lot of people that like target me, so I don't have a lot. But like we were on woods and Seal died, and we just thought dude had a thermal. I went to hit a flank. He was shooting at me, missing shots, hit some. I was like, oh, this guy's got a thermal. And so then I countered my own flank. I repositioned because like maybe he saw me flanking. He's going to go this way. And I go this way. And he just beelines it straight to me on woods. And then he starts VoIPing some absolute shenanigans. And there's a huge rock in between me and him. And he's VoIPing. And sure enough, mother flipping Super Mario jump, 360 spinning in the air. First shot headshot. And I was like, damn, brother. I was like, all right. So we reported him, whatever. And then today, this morning, somebody tagged me on Twitter. They tagged Vibin and then put a link, and then they subtweeted themselves and tagged me and then put a link, and I clicked the link, and it was a TikTok, and it was like the little AI voice where text to speech. It was like, ran into Jesse Kazam on woods, and it was my perspective of that fight. Like the first 40 seconds of the clip was my perspective from my stream, and then the last 10 seconds of the clip was his perspective, and it was literally just showing off his cheats. He saw my name, my KD, my everything, and he just goes moon boots, boing, and I was like, like, what an idiot. Like, this is so,
I had the opposite, which was, it was like the first raid of the day, actually. And I had like a 200 IQ play where I ran into East Wing. You know, you're out in the open making the sprint to the front door. Yeah. And I heard somebody coming around the corner. I think he was coming down the close left stairs. And you know how there's a desk? Right in the entrance? I hear him coming. And he like pre-fires and stuff, and I'm like, oh god. So I hop up on the desk and hold that angle, thinking like he's, you know, if he's a Chad, he's gonna have good crosshair placement, he's gonna hit me in my shins.
Yep.
You know? And that's what he does. He sweeps out, and I think I had the SVD just point fire, boom, just dropped him. And then all of a sudden I hear footsteps coming my way, and super aggressive, super confident dude. Pre-fires, Keter, just like sidestep, and I'm like, oh god, here we go. Like the Keter, whatever. I like pre-fire a couple times. He kind of lights me up a little bit. I may or may not have hit him. I'm not sure. And then as he like pushes back towards the stairs, I turn around to go out, kind of wrap around the left side just to like Propital.
Yep.
And as I do that, he instantly pushes out and just head taps him with the Keter. And I'm like, just the way he was moving, how confident he was, the fact that it was a Keter right to the face instantly. It was just like, it just felt super sus. And I was like, I said something stupid like, yeah, this guy had to toggle on because, I killed his boyfriend, or whatever it was. Then I see in the name, it's something or other TV. And I'm like, here we go. It's going to be check. It's going to be a 50 streamer, 50 follower streamer that's never streamed before.
Yep.
And now the interesting thing was I searched the name in the game, and the first result was somebody with a different name live. I think Twitch like caches if you change your Twitch name.
Oh, interesting.
Because yes, in case you change your name, someone searches for it. It showed me a different thing. His name was like Keter Chad or something. I forget what it was or whatever. And I pulled up the thing, and then I went to go clip instantly because it was like within the minute. Yeah. I went to go hit clip, and it's like clips are disabled. So I'm instantly like, why you disable clips, bro? Like, what the I wanted to see his perspective. And he and the guy was like, oh yeah, sorry, dude, just have a lot of people come in and like accuse me of all kinds of and his voice was like the nicest. Like I instantly was like, oh god, I know how this is gonna go. And he's like, let me pull it up, dude. And he like runs into the closet while he's like bleeding, and he's like pulling up the clip. And then I'm like, oh no, I can find it on the VOD, dude. Like, don't worry, whatever. I'm like, I'm just a little butthurt, after dying because it's like I killed a geared dude. I'm like sick. I need to get some more gear. And the clip was like, he's just a big dick Chad.
Yeah.
Where he was just super confident, point fired the out of me. Nothing was sus. And the biggest thing was that he like pre-fired the angle.
Yeah.
Which is like a common angle, which is fine. He didn't hit me, but it was like when someone instantly starts spraying and it's like I've made no noise. I'm like already, But the thing was when he rounded the corner, when I had turned around to go away, I timed it such that like he shouldn't have seen me.
Yeah.
But yet given, some of the net code plus the movement speed and all that other stuff, he could literally just see my legs but going behind the wall, which means he already knows that I went left and not right. He already knows
that's enough timing of info to push if you wanted to. Yeah.
To know where I'm gonna be, right? Either I stopped or whatever, and he just pushed out and point fired and shot me in the face, and I was like,
yep.
I'm like, dog, I was salty, I was sus, clearly, whatever, you on me, GG. I shouted him out on stream so that people, because he had like 70.
Yeah.
He might have had like 17 followers. I forget what it was, but he was super nice. And I just had to be like, see, I'm the guy who's always saying like, be humbled because you could be wrong.
Yeah.
And even me, even with that in my head, I'm still like, nah, that was sus. And then I watch it. I'm like, nope, I'm an idiot. I was wrong.
Yep.
And I let like my emotions get the better of me.
Yep.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but I'm only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have like 17 or 18 quests left for Kappa.
Oh, nice.
Which a lot of them are not, like I can probably bust out like 12, 13, 14 of those in a couple of streams.
Yeah.
But the ones that are going to be the hardest are going to be definitely going to be like that. Like, I don't know how, I've never even seen the goons before. I've never even seen a clip of them. I don't know anything about them. Don't know what they're like. I literally have never encountered them and never seen a video.
That's crazy.
All I know is that people are like, the goons are on customs now.
Yeah.
So I don't even know. They like move maps.
Yeah.
I thought they were like reserve bosses. I mean, lighthouse bosses.
So lighthouse is their like home. Lighthouse is the only map that they can spawn in 2 different locations. They can spawn either in the lower chalet, the blue roofed one, or they can spawn in the water treatment plant. I've never successfully fought them in the water treatment plant. I hate fighting them on Lighthouse, period, but I've never successfully fought them in the water treatment plant. but they can also spawn at that lower chalet where I fought him a bunch. They also have, I believe, a slightly higher % chance to spawn on Lighthouse, but they do rotate maps. So basically, they'll be on customs, and nobody knows.
And it's global?
Yeah, nobody knows if it's a predetermined amount of time or if it's a scaled amount of time, but they'll be on one map, and then they'll be on there for a few hours, and then they'll be on another map, and then they'll be on another map, and they just bounce around. Customs, Woods, and Shoreline, each of those maps only has the one spawn location for them. Yeah, and so Goon Tracker, goon-tracker, I think, .com is just like a community sourced website where, like, for every 5, dude, it's all I've used. It's what I used last wipe.
We have to have a community crowdsourced tool to find
it's what
NPCs in a video.
It's what I used last wipe. Well, only if you're looking for, like, if you're doing what I'm doing, where I'm like, I'm getting this quest done for Kappa, then you kind of have to know where they are. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
so,
but like, imagine, like, just from a game design perspective, imagine no one did that, and you have a quest to kill them.
Yeah, how would you?
What do you do? Exactly. It's not like there's like a compass that'll be like point you to them.
Yeah, exactly. That would be interesting. Where, like, if it told you where, because, like, you know how, like, there's quests that'll tell you to do it on this map, kill 15, and then Woods, it says. And I'm pretty sure it's like, if it says kill Rashala, well, no, it doesn't, because you can kill Gluhar and Killa on streets and they count for the quest. I don't know. It would just be interesting if it told you where they were. But anyways, yeah, they rotate. Goon Tracker is as reliable of a source as you can get, but still sometimes unreliable. When they, like, a lot of times you'll see, like, reports and it'll be like shoreline, 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 and okay, they're on shoreline. But then it'll be like shoreline, customs, Woods, shoreline, customs, lighthouse, customs. And that's like when they're switching. And I don't know why it always gets weird like that, but then it'll settle into like customs, 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 and you're like, okay, they're on customs. So it's like, if you catch it at a switch, like, some people have theorized that they bounce around and then settle on a map. Some people have theorized that there's overlap. If they're moving from Lighthouse to Customs for like 30 minutes, they can spawn on both, and then they move to Customs. Nobody knows.
They're the quantum bosses, dude.
Yes, Schrodinger's
the wave
boss.
function, the wave function collapses, and yeah.
So it's like,
I want to talk about that after, actually.
And then when there's a big streamer fighting them, people flood with false reports just to troll. Like, if Landmark, like, checked it, everybody would report them everywhere just to troll, whatever. But it works well enough. And fighting them is a pain. You're just gonna die. It's just how that works.
Dude, there's a ton of Tarkov stuff.
Yeah, there is.
Get into. We'll probably get lost in the sauce. So real quick, I want to talk about, on the topic of quantum indeterminacy. I just got done. It took me maybe 4 streams, playing like 3 or 4 hours each, playing Outer Wilds.
Oh yeah.
And it went from being a game that I saw like a third of the trailer. I literally clicked off the trailer because I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people were like, you should play Outer Wilds, blah, blah, blah. And like, it was just kind of like, man, I get a million recommend. Play Factorio, play Satisfactory, play all these other games. And it was just another one of those that a bunch of people recommended. And it went from that to being maybe top 3 games of all time for me.
Damn.
Within 3 or 4 days. I showed you before the stream.
Yeah.
My face, I mean, no camera. I had to mute my microphone. The credits are rolling, and I was emotional. Like, the music, the story, seriously in the feels. It's just such a beautiful game.
That's sick.
And then not only that, but the mechanics. It has all of the things that, like, I love in, like, science and things that, like, I've always kind of wanted in video games. Like, I wish there was a game with a black hole in it. I wish there was a game with quantum mechanics as a like, quantum mechanics are like a first party, like a first class mechanic in the game. And the way I figured it out was the most amazing. Dude, it's like, I don't even know. This is a game where I had to put chat in sub-only mode when I played it. It's a game where spoiling it, you don't want to spoil it. Do not watch a Let's Play of this game.
Interesting.
Do not watch a tutorial if you're interested. I would recommend like not even stream.
Just getting in there.
Just go play it. If you like space, it's so
cool.
different than you'd expect. And I'm actually mad because so many people had said like, "Are you gonna play? You're gonna play?" I'm like, "Nah, yeah, I don't know." I saw it on the Steam page and whatever. And they're like, "Oh, okay." That's a game where people needed to wring me by the throat.
Yeah,
you say, play it.
Yeah,
I'm mad that nobody forced me to play it. You know, like, oh my god, dude, it's just so good. I would so recommend it if you like space.
That's sick.
If you like emotional kind of mystery exploration games, just play it.
All right, the Veritas seal of approval on Outer Wilds. It's a single player game, right? It's like a story driven, narrative driven single player game, right? Yeah.
Yep.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's
it's
dope.
Just I've always wanted a game either to make one or for someone to make one. You ever seen Super Mario Galaxy?
Mm-hmm.
And or did you ever watch like Dragon Ball Z back in the day?
A little bit.
There was that one little planet where it was like you could run around the planet in like 10 seconds.
Oh
yeah,
you know? Yeah.
Super Mario Galaxy is kind of like that, where I just love that the whole solar system is like baby sized.
Yeah.
But like all of the physics is like real physics.
Yeah.
Everything is moving always. The number of times where like, you know, I'd plant my ship down on a thing, turn around, go to do a thing, look over, and my ship was like falling off of a cliff into the black hole, and you're like, and then like you go to like try to get it and you get sucked into the black hole, and dude, it's just amazing.
That's sick.
Oh, it's amazing. And it's the only game ever, whenever I play like Skyrim a million times, and I will pass I'll skip through every single text dialogue.
Yeah.
And I will, every lore book, you know, the lusty Argonian, you know, whatever, I will not read it. This one was like, I was searching to read every little bit I could.
That's cool.
About characters you never meet.
That's cool.
An ancient alien civilization. It's just beautiful. All I can say is play it.
Play Outer Wilds.
Yeah, it's got every single aspect that I want. There are a couple of like nitpicky game designy things where I'm like, I wish that like, I forget some of the details that were just kind of like frustrating.
Yeah.
But overall, the design is amazing in so many aspects, and the fact that like so many core elements of the game I was able to figure out by accident, and you can do it. You can figure it out in like any order.
That's
like
cool.
Whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just play it.
That's dope. Speaking of space games, I think they announced the date for Starfield, which is the Bethesda space game. I think it's like actually being launched later this year. A lot of people are really hesitant, which kind of makes sense because a lot of the more recent Bethesda stuff has been kind of meh. And then also, speaking of space games, huge Star Citizen patch happening tonight, I think, actually.
Oh.
Big W.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, we never talked about KSP either, too.
Oh, yeah. I heard mixed reviews on that. It's because like is it beta or is it just?
I don't even know. It's early access.
Early access.
It feels almost like alpha.
Yeah.
Like if you think about like KSP 1 was like 100% complete with mods.
Yeah.
KSP 2 is 8% of what KSP 1 had, with worse performance but way better graphics.
Yeah.
And all this crazy potential, but a ton of bugs.
Yeah. That's
like,
basically what I heard.
Yeah, it got to the point where I'm like, I actually need to take a break from this game because I would spend 4 hours like putting a ship together, putting it around orbit in the moon, all excited to like do this, like to replicate the Apollo mission, and you hit the button to undock and the thing just explodes, and then you load the quick save and like your ship isn't there and there's like no orbital lines, and then you load the quick save again and the game crashes and you're just like, you know, like,
yeah.
So I'm just waiting. That they've already done, I don't know if they've done or they've announced a patch with a bunch of technical fixes, and I genuinely, it's hard to say with all the that we go through with like Tarkov and all this stuff. It's hard to say and get taken seriously, but I'm genuinely optimistic that things will iron out. I have no reason to think that they're not gonna like get their sorted.
Yeah,
and it is like super early, but man, yeah, it's a little tough pill to swallow
for sure. Because people
when I've
were
been
waiting
waiting
on
like
it for
5 years,
so long. Yeah, yeah.
and it's $60 or maybe $50. I forget, one of the either 50 or 60, but it's like,
Still.
yeah, so
Yikes. All that being said, it has been pretty eventful. More shenanigans happening in Tarkov. I saw you put this, and I actually was gonna put it, but you did, like the follow up kind of to the GOAT video and that situation. It continued to blow up. XQC reacted to it. Moist Critical reacted to it. Asmongold reacted to it. And then the Linus Tech Tips on the WAN show, Linus and Luke, because they were the ones that initially talked about it. Then he released his video, but then they devoted about 45 minutes of the WAN show this week talking about the video again and the fallout of the video.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, I don't know about you, but I was cringing the whole time.
I mean, I felt like Luke's take on it was really reasonable, and then Linus just obviously isn't in the world and doesn't really know, so he was asking a lot of questions. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Luke's take on everything was pretty base, especially because he acknowledged the fact that so many of the streamers had watched the video with no pretext of what it was going to be, and then were kind of like reacted to it live, and then the community kind of ate them alive, and he kind of acknowledged that like weird dynamic and the frustration there, and then yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, because I watched it before the stream and then I watched it again on stream because I was talking about it, and people were like, what are you talking about? And that entire conversation was a giant cluster, in my opinion, because my takeaway of what they were saying, and it's kind of hard because it's like I know what they were saying and kind of what they were getting at, but also know how people are going to take it.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to my criticism of Goat's video, where it's like I don't disagree with what he's saying, but I think a lot of people's takeaway is going to be like not necessarily the right takeaway. But if I had to summarize like what I think a lot of folks' takeaway, or at least what part of what Linus was saying, was the reason why there was so much criticism and or like negativity over Goat's video was like 2 or 3 reasons. One, people who were critical were afraid that the game was going to die and that they'd lose their careers, because they're only Tarkov creators, which I think is kind of conspiracy theory, unfair bullshit. 2, was that this is where things started to get a lot really conflated, because they were talking about the community criticism, then they switched over to content creator criticism, and then the blowback they got, and then instantly in the middle of that conversation started talking about Sherpas and emissaries, and how they get stuff from BSG, and because they're afraid of the free stuff going away, they need to either deny or shove under the rug this stuff. So it was basically like conflating a million different things. But number 2 is effectively that people are afraid that if they agree with GOAT and they're not critical, that they're going to get their goodies taken away. Which, like, none of the creators specifically who were like, I don't know how. Well, first of all, there's the whole Sherpa creator thing that went away weeks ago before Goat's video, like mid-February. So that's kind of irrelevant. The fact is that like, how many people, how vocal or prominent are non-content creator Sherpas? As if like that was ever irrelevant. No one was tweeting about the non-content creator Sherpas being against the video. Basically, what it seemed like they were saying, streamers get stuff from BSG, whether it's items or some sort of whatever, and they don't want that to go away. So that's why they were against the video, which is in my opinion, another unfair miscategorization. and there was a third one that I forget. Oh, and then the last one I thought was just kind of patronizing. It was, and this is what they ended with, and I think maybe you were being too gracious with them. They basically said the creators were upset. They watched the video live, and they were upset at what they were seeing. Like this is cheating problem is this big cheating problem. I am upset, and I don't know how else to handle it except to be negative towards GOAT. I need to take out my anger. I mean, if you read it, if you watch it and listen to what they said, it's basically what they said, is that they didn't have time to process it, and they had to let out that negativity somewhere, and it basically went towards the video. I just was like, what the f? It makes us all look like shill. All the things I was criticized for and you were criticized for unfairly.
Yeah.
It's as if there was no valid criticisms of the video. You either had to be totally selfish, you wanted free, or you were emotional and couldn't figure out how to deal with it. Like, really?
I think, like, everything just came down to the fact that they're not in the community. I mean, like, I saw you tweet, by the way, that you were like something about the Sherpa packs, and you're like, was that even a thing? Like, you didn't know? Like, you have 10,000 hours in this game. You've been a Sherpa at one point.
I was never a Sherpa.
Oh no, were you an emissary for like a super brief amount of time or something?
For like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I left because they wanted to give Sherpas items.
Yeah.
And I said no.
So you have 10,000 hours in the game. You're aware of Sherpas. You're aware of emissaries. You have a podcast of the game, and you didn't even know that dynamic on like who was given what, when, or whatever. So I just took that as two friends talking about it when they just don't know. And they were like, if you can be confused on it, it's not surprising to me that somebody that doesn't know anything about Tarkov was confused about it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So he said he was asking, he was like, so like, it's to my understanding that people get stuff from Battlestate games for free. So would that be a reason why they wanted to push this under the rug because they don't want to lose their free stuff? He was asking those questions. I completely agree. But like, it didn't come across to me as accusatory that is what was happening. Linus was asking questions, and a lot of the questions, Luke was just like, I don't know. I really just play the game. I'm not in the community. He's obviously like friends with GOAT and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was just literally like all of that stuff was just like them completely misunderstanding, which is understandable because it's confusing for people that play the game all the time. It's confusing for people that play the game full time. So I don't know. I didn't see it as accusatory or patronizing. I just think that they are not as in the community as I am or as you are. And so I understood that there was confusion and that they kind of were linked to that fire because they were the first ones to kind of break the video or whatever when they were talking about it. I went back and watched the WAN show from before as well, before the video launched. And
I don't think I watched that full one.
And so yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, it was interesting that they talked about it. Yeah, I mean, none of that was a thing where it was like, I mean, you can make it like, yeah, I don't know. There's no way to know how many people reacted what way, but yeah, I don't think that people were reacting negative to the video because they were afraid that the game was going to die and that they were going to lose their jobs. Definitely nobody was reacting poorly to the video because, or at least nobody that I know, because they have ins with Battlestate games that they were afraid to burn the bridges if they were critical. The reality is if you watch any, once again, if like all the people that were vocal about hating the video were people that scream from the mountaintops every single day of their stream, this game sucks, the cheating problem is so bad. So none of those people were worried about burning bridges. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I feel like most of the criticisms, there were like 2 or 3 that most of them I don't necessarily agree with. But like I can understand, like one of the more prominent ones was Axel. Like Axel's my homie. I love Axel. Like he's the man. Ton of respect for him. I just happen to disagree with his take on this, which is fine. I didn't personally, even though people wanted to tell me that this is what I said and this is what I thought.
Yeah.
It's not true. I never thought that or accused GOAT of promoting cheats or never called into question like his motives. Especially after talking with him, definitely changed my. Before then, I would have never said I know what someone's motives are. Because I hate that and I think it's unfair, which is kind of why I didn't like what they were saying, because it Linus and was it Luke? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Just because I hate when people try to speculate about what's in people's hearts and minds. Right. It's not what they say. It's I think I know why they're doing it. It seemed to me that most of the negative feedback was either that they were afraid that it was promoting cheats, that it was somehow like, trying to be, like edgy content for the sake of it. One of the other criticisms that I think was in some ways fair, but like I said, after talking with Goat, I think he redeemed himself, was like, if you look at the half a dozen videos he did beforehand, they were all kind of drama baity.
For sure,
calling people out, calling people names, that kind of stuff, so I can see a lot of people just being like, this guy. And being instantly skeptical, of this guy wants to make a video making bold claims about the game and the community. Well, I don't trust anything this guy says, So for better or worse, fair or unfair, I think that's where a lot of people were coming from. For me, it was, okay, let's sit and watch this video. And then someone says 2 + 2 = 5. It's like, pause the video. I got to point out 2 + 2 = 4. Don't want to nitpick, but 2 + 2 = 4. Hit play. And then later, 3 + 3 = 7. Pause the video. Okay, well, I don't know what he's going to say next. Don't know what the conclusion is. The conclusion might be 1 + 1 = 2, and I agree. But I can't not point out the little details that I think, are potentially problematic or misleading. But then people wanted to project all these things.
For sure.
Even the comments for our last podcast, there were 2 or 3 people who were adamant, completely so sure Veritas was working on this video. He was working on it. He got beat to it.
And you're just
He's
butthurt that.
I'm just butthurt, right? That was my defense mechanism because I'm mad. Dude, if I was doing it, I would release it, and I think it would have been better.
You would have just done
working on it.
You would have been more motivated to do it if you were working on it.
Exactly. And then the email that I showed on stream from the dude who contacted me and was like, I want to do this experiment. They were like, that's all made up. Even though I showed the email, I must have photoshopped it, I guess. That's all made up. That's a cover because he wanted to do it, and he's just upset that he's not going to be the science guy anymore. It's like, give me a break. Like, no.
Yeah, all the drama around that was just sensationalizing relatively rational takes. Here's the thing. You can feel something and be right in feeling it and it not necessarily be true. I absolutely, at one point, while reflecting on the video, was like, man, this is basically an advertisement for cheats. At no point did I think that Goat set out to advertise cheats. But at one point, initially, after I was processing it, and I brought it up to him, I literally asked him when he was here, I was like, man, do you feel like it kind of made cheating look too fun? And he was like, I didn't include these clips. Maybe I should have included this clips, whatever. And a lot of people felt that way. That doesn't mean that is what he was doing. That doesn't mean it is what he was attempting to do. Like we talked about when he was on here, I'm sure some people went out and cheated as a result of that. So you can feel that, but not necessarily project that onto him as his intention. And you can also be wrong. Where at one point I was like, man, I feel like this is just going to promote more cheaters, not knowing the future because, and the reason why is because, like you said many times on the podcast and many times to his face, there have been people that have done this before. That have been people that have been duped into advertising cheats with the cheater interviews. I interviewed a cheater and they don't really know they're getting played.
They pull up the website and everything.
They don't really know they're getting played. So initially there was a part of me that was like, man, I don't think, and I remember I could pull up text. I was texting my buddy. I was like, I don't think it was his intention, but I'm worried that this is that. So a lot of stuff like that, it was like a rational opinion that got sensationalized, where somebody might say on stream, ex-streamer might say, I'm worried that this is just gonna advertise cheats. And then X viewer might be like, you're so stupid. How could you think that this guy is advertising cheats? And then the streamer then gets defensive and maybe tweets out, imagine liking this video from a guy who's actually trying to advertise cheats. And it's just sensationalizing. And what we ended up with was everything was so far away from the original criticism. And then these tribes formed, and it was pro GOAT or you were either for GOAT or you were against GOAT. And if you're on the other team, I hate you and I want you to die. And it just like got crazy. And it was like, and that was why it was so good to have GOAT on the podcast, because he basically responded to and acknowledged every actual criticism of the video, which was, we talked to him about, do you feel like it made cheating too fun? We talked to him about like the data, because that was another thing. It was like, man, I wish the data, I wish it was presented better. I wish maybe he had done some different testing. Once again, that was another thing that was valid criticism that GOAT even acknowledged was valid criticism, but ended up getting sensationalized into, he didn't do the science right. So video bad, GOAT bad, I hate him. It got sensationalized away from the original valid criticism, was like, interesting video. I wish he would have presented the information a little differently. So that was what all that was. And it was so frustrating and so annoying. And at some point, the very first thing I told him was that I was glad I had time to reflect, because that's how human beings operate, right? We can't be so, like you said, with your example about the cheater, we can't be so afraid to go back and admit we're wrong or go back on what we thought. I texted my buddy and I literally told him, I don't think anything good is going to come from this video. Thank God I didn't tweet that, because I was wrong, right? Like
I did.
Yeah.
But then again, that's also why I said I'm skeptical.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very careful about how I word things.
Sure.
I won't say nothing good will come from it, because I know I'm setting myself up for a gotcha.
Exactly. And I thought that because videos like this had been done in the past, but then it whatever happened, critical mass of people frustrated, Nikita being in the right, like it's whatever. And that's the thing, is so it's just like, it's just whatever. Like the sensationalizing of every opinion into assuming motivations and into hating other people, it prevents us from being able to be wrong. I'm so thankful that I was wrong about that, and I'm very also thankful I didn't tweet about it. You know what I mean? Because by the time I streamed next, I was able to have like a much more refined opinion and just be like, yeah, like well interesting to see and whatever. And so like, I think that's why I'm super glad we had GOAT on, because like there were like 3 or 4, like you said, there were 3 or 4 main criticisms of the video. All of the drama came after, ended up having nothing to do with those actual criticisms and had to do with just the hot takeness of it all. And GOAT was able to basically acknowledge everything. He was like, I kind of rushed the video out. I wish I had done it differently. I could have done this, whatever. And it's like, cool. And it seems like good things are happening from it, and it started some good stuff. So yeah, so I don't know. It just like, I hate it all. I said it last week too. It feels like the meta is just speed run an opinion and then just cement shoes. Boy, you can't move. And it's stupid. You know what I mean? Because all we do as humans is make predictions based on what's happened in the past, and we're just making our best guess along the way, right? When the video came out, nobody knew what was going to happen in the future as a result of the video. Nobody knew how big it was going to be, and our opinions can only be informed not by what hasn't happened yet, but by what's happened before. So as a guy with 10,000 hours or 6,000 hours in the game who's seen 77, I interviewed a cheater, or I cheated, or this, that, and the other, and nothing major happening from it, it wasn't spite towards GOAT to say, I'm skeptical anything good is going to happen. That wasn't hate towards GOAT. That wasn't challenging his motivation. That was just, it's all we can do in a moment. You want my opinion? This is it. Based on what's happened in the past, based on what I see, boom. If I'm wrong, cool. Like, you know what I mean? So like, that's what gets me, is it's just like, there was kernels of valid criticism in everything, but they just got conflated to this negativity, this motivation assuming stuff. And the struggle is that some content creators got baited into it, and you could see them do it. They did dig their heels in, and then they did start calling GOAT names, and that was so disappointing, because like your original take, X streamer, I can understand where you were there, and at some point I agreed with you, but when you doubled down on it, I'm like, it's just the internet is baiting you into that. You feel like you have to dig in to hold your position, or else you'd be wrong, and I love being wrong. I welcome being wrong. And so I hated the few people that really dug in. I was like, no, like.
The reason why they do that, though, is the people who are criticizing them, it's those types of people, it's their fault. Because how many of the people that were saying, wow, I can't believe you have the wrong take?
Yeah.
To then the same people were tweeting at me saying, I can't believe you condemned GOAT and then had him on your podcast.
For sure, yeah.
Like as if I'm like this two-faced whatever. And it all came down to people, they don't care about any of the actual facts or the truth of anything. They want to see the world burn, right? People came in, and I actually had to go back because I'm like, there's a world in which I'm like totally wrong, and like I'm post-hoc rationalizing what happened. And I went back and I watched my VOD from the day that I reacted to it. I'm like, I want to see what I said. And literally, I started pointing out a couple of like, pause the video and point out some nitpicky things. And what ended up happening was I hadn't even watched the whole video yet.
Yeah.
I was pointing out like, wait, he just said 100%. And then he said, but like almost never. So I'm confused. And then people started to say, why are you condemning him? Why are you X? Why are you Y? And then I'm like, I'm not saying that. And then more people would come in and say, why are you so mad, bro?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what the are you talking about? And then more people would come in and be like, look how much he's mauling. He's seething that someone beat him to it. And it's like, it's just completely. And now that's why the narrative is how mad I was at the video when I reacted.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I didn't even really react to the video. I reacted to a couple of little nitpicky pieces of it. And then I reacted to the creatures in chat putting their heads directly in their ass and then spitting back the first thing they could find in there at me as if it was my take.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. It was the same people that were tweeting at me that they were unsubbing to me for my take when I hadn't. It was like that was just like, that felt like the bottom of that barrel.
Yep.
Where it was like you're actively unsubscribing from someone for a take you made up in your head. You couldn't have even misunderstood my take. I had yet to say anything. So at that point, you're so far up your own ass that you've made up a take for me that you disagree with so vehemently that you're unsubscribing to me. That it was just, I would laugh so hard because I was like, brother, you are at the bottom of this. Like, this is the last brain cell you have. Savor it. You know what I mean? Like, it is the last.
Dude, I got the same message.
Unreal, dude. Unreal.
It had to be the same person because I got the same message. It was on a completely unrelated video. And it was like, I posted the video and the fourth comment I got was, I'm unsubscribing to you because of your take on GOAT. I wonder if it was did you also get that YouTube comment?
Maybe,
or was it someone different?
Maybe.
And it was like
the same one, dude.
Because my tweet saying that it was meh.
Unreal. So yeah, so that whole thing. So like, I'm so glad we got him on here because I think it was really important for us to be able to show that, of course, it's like a lose-lose, right? Like if we didn't have him on, people would say this. If we didn't have him on, people would say this. There were definitely the people that said, you know, there were the people that said we were chasing clout, and there were the people that said we were like walking it back. But ultimately, I think for most people, it was good to be able to like levy all of those the real kernels of criticism just directly to his face. And I think the most important thing was to see the GOAT stands hear him be like, yeah, no, I see that. You know what I mean? And like acknowledge. Yeah. Like that, because it got to the point exactly. Any criticism of the video was a criticism of GOAT's existence on this planet, and it's like Veritas thinks he should die, and it was like they got there, and so to hear GOAT say, yeah, oh well, I actually wanted to do that, but I pushed out the video early because Linus and Luke did it, or that's a good thing. I tried to do it, but maybe I could have done it better. It was so good, and then for us, who up until that point of actually talking to someone, you can't know their motivations. So he got to hear that criticism, and we got to, like, by the end of that, I think, like you said, we both were like, man, I'm more confident than ever that like this guy just wants the best for the community, and he did it, and he did his best job, and here we are. He didn't know it was going to get 2 million views. We didn't know it was going to. So it was like, yeah, I don't know. So I'm glad ultimately we did that, but.
And I never had to make that video too. I mentioned a few times, I'm like, in my video that I'm working on, I mean, I recorded 3 hours of voiceover that was unedited and all that stuff. I wrote a 26-page script, and I just decided not to, because so many of the things I was able to either speak to him privately about or speak in the podcast. There was no reason for me to make the video, especially given that a lot of my criticisms were addressed in those conversations.
Yeah.
I didn't want to rehash them again as if they weren't addressed.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have to rewrite half of it. I just felt like nothing is going to come from
exactly.
This.
If you want, if you wanted to know, you could watch the podcast and see that conversation play out. And if you don't want to know, you probably would just end up commenting on that video 3 minutes into it, not watching it anyway. So it's like, why? Yeah.
There you go.
What an interesting turn of events. I did find, by the way, to touch back on the whole Sherpa pack thing, I did find that to be hilarious. Like, that was definitely a witch hunt. Like people were just looking for problems now. Like, the Sherpa pack thing was weird.
People want to hate content
exactly
creators,
yeah, they were just like, they were on a witch hunt at that point, because like the Sherpa pack, every month or two, if you were a Sherpa, you got some ammo and some meds. I'm not trying to downplay it. It was a lot of ammo. It was good ammo and a lot of good meds, propitals and saluas and BP ammo. It was whatever. Like, I'm not, it is what it was. But the thing is that like, it wasn't a secret. I have been a Sherpa for 2 years almost, and I opened that stuff on stream all the time to like get a propital or a salua. I think, whatever the idea, whatever. Once again, we can't talk about intention or motivation. The idea was originally, if you're out there helping people, here's a little care package for you helping people. I never relied on it. They never ended up starting, like, they don't do it for like the first 2 months of the wipe, month or two of the wipe. So I almost always ended up having Kappa before I got my first one. Most of the stuff I would let expire. I would go in and grab some meds and maybe some ammo every once in a while. But it was like, if you wanted to criticize it, that's fair. But it was this like, Sherpas exposed, hiding free loot from BSG. And it was like, that's disingenuous. If you want to criticize that we're getting loot, whatever. But so many people were tweeting like, "Oh my God!" Like, now we know.
When did this happen?
I don't know. Somebody tweeted about it, and then it was like a week or two before the GOAT thing started. People were just like,
I never heard about that until I saw it on the Wayne show, which is why I tweeted about it. And then a bunch of people responded with the clip from Glorious from a couple weeks ago, where it was like, he opens up the thing and it's like, there's like 30 propital. And then there's
some ammo,
995,
and some saluas and some ammos.
A whole bunch of like, literally, I haven't seen like half of the like AP for MP7. I literally haven't shot a single round of, like a whole bunch of stuff. Now I personally don't give a but I'm like, that's one of those things, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, people would be mad about that. I understand, because people just get butthurt about everything. But now, I also saw that was like 2 weeks ago that clip was made, and I had to wonder, like, was that had to be why they nuked the whole content creator Sherpa thing, right? There had to be drama around the whole boosting thing and the viewer kits plus the RMT, plus all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, well, I can see people being upset about the view of, I don't know if you want to call it like hypocrisy or inconsistency or whatever, where it's like, streamers can't get a whole bunch of from their viewers because it's considered boosting. But then Sherpas get a whole bunch of, like, I mean, dude, to be fair, the value in that Sherpa thing was probably more than like the vibe and screenshot with the 4 slicks and the ammo. So it's like,
what's great about the podcast is, I don't remember what episode, but if you really wanted to find it, you could find it. 6 months ago, as an active Sherpa, you know what I mean? Because the whole like Linus Tech Tips, they were like, oh, if they were connected with BSG, maybe they wouldn't, maybe they'd want to hush hush. I yelled from the mountaintops on this podcast while I was an active Sherpa when they were making these anti-RMT changes where you can't drop stuff, I can't drop bolts. I can't bring in bolts for my friend because he needs it for the hideout, right? I can't drop keys. On the podcast, made a point about, I was getting like that I was like, I'm getting loot from BSG for being a Sherpa. How is that not boosting? I like yelled at as an active Sherpa. So 2 weeks ago, for it to be like, and I know not everybody watches the podcast, not everybody watches me. I understand that.
I was there and I don't remember.
Yeah, I understand that there's a lot of people that didn't know, but it was just funny that it was this like breaking news, exposed. Everyone was trying to keep this a secret, but now we Glorious, showed it to the world. I was like, no.
Whoever exposed it did jobs.
Once again, if you wanted to criticize the mechanic, that's fair. I had also criticized the mechanic, but it was just disingenuous how, and I'm not saying Glorious. I'm not even saying Glorious's clip or tweet wasn't that. It wasn't Glorious being like, I'm going to be the hero and rip off the Band-Aid. It was a clip of Glorious opening the package that then somebody was like, oh, I'm going to rip off, I'm going to show the world. So I want that to be clear that Glorious didn't try to white knight or do anything. He just like showed it on stream once and then, but it was just so funny that like, because then once again, I get swept up in it. I get told that because I was a Sherpa, I was a part of the problem in doing this when I like literally yelled about this on the podcast 6 months ago because I was criticizing, like it was a point to criticize BSG about the anti-RMT changes. So like every checkbox, I brought it up first as a Sherpa when I was connected to them, criticizing them for a separate issue. It was like, it was all there, but then
dude,
I'm get told whatever. It's so funny.
It seems like you're mad that you didn't do the exposing video first.
I should have done the exposing tweet.
Sounds like you're mad. You know, you did tell me in an email that you were planning on doing it and you were like 98% of the way done, and then this guy beat you to it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show the receipt.
Show the receipt.
Exposed, Jesse exposed. I'm gonna Photoshop some real ding dong that you never said that you did say and tweet it out.
Love it.
And get you canceled.
All press is good press, you know?
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I mean, you know, Bill Cosby.
Yeah. So that was just something that I found to be hilarious and frustrating. Okay, so other Tarkov things that have happened. We got a hot fix. The flea thing was a part of that, so I'll save that for last. But we got a hot fix on 5-6 days ago now, last week. That was camera recoil got reduced again by 25% across the board. Just remove it from the game, LOL. But at this point, they reduced it by, I believe, 25% during the aftermath of your video, and then an additional 25% right now.
I gotta check it, dude, because I haven't really noticed. I've been point firing finally a lot more now, so now it's like
recoil in a lot of ways is still scuffed in the sense that like a Val or a VSS, like the first shot recoil is just like insane. But I have noticed
the first 3 shots. Right?
Yeah. I have noticed across the board that the camera recoil, the feeling that my vision is separated from my optic has been better. Even on high recoil guns, the camera recoil has been better, which is nice. Rashala got up to 28% from 24. I think all the other bosses are still 24, but Rashala got up.
I can't find them.
Cultists got their spawn rate increased to 10% at night, which was kind of cool.
Still never seen them.
I've only seen the cultists on factory this wipe. No, I found them on shoreline once.
I've only seen the cultists 2 times ever in history, and the last time was 2 wipes ago.
Really? Yeah. I ran into them.
We were doing night raids.
Yeah, we were doing night shoreline trying to do Insomnia, and we ran into them once. And then we were doing night factories trying to find Tagilla. We ran into them 2 times in like 5 raids, and they only have like a 2% spawn chance on factory at night, 5% or something. It was kind of cool though. Shooterborn in Heaven is back to 100 meters from 125, which I think is dope. That's gonna help.
A bad quest, but it's less bad now.
Yeah, that'll help for like streets and customs specifically. You know, with the troublesome ones there. The Ledix craft was back. However,
I saw it. There's 2 items that I've never seen before.
However, okay. So where the Ledix craft was before was deep down the Lightkeeper chain. Okay. So like, remember that night where I told you every quest? It's like deep down the Lightkeeper chain. You unlocked the quest and everybody was like, that's lame. You added the craft for people who were struggling to find Ledexes found in raid for private clinic. It was a very expensive craft. Give us the craft back. They gave us the craft back, but that item you need in order to craft it is an item given to you as a reward for that same Lightkeeper quest.
The microcontroller board, I'm literally looking at it right now.
No, those you can find on labs. It's the book, the cum book. It's like computer, it's
the
like
cum book.
It's like computer undergraduate microsystems.
Carbon universal microchips.
Yeah. So
come
the book you get as a reward for that quest. Now, I don't know if they have changed the craft. I believe that they were going to. I believe that was a mistake, that they were like, oh yeah, put the Ledex craft, and they didn't remember that they added the book. The microchip thing you can like find on labs. They're rare, but you can find them. But the book you literally can't get unless you complete the quest. So that was irrelevant.
Looks like there's a mechanic barter for it, but I don't have it unlocked.
The book or the thing?
After you complete Missing Informant from Lighthouse Keeper, that's when it's 15 military circuit boards.
Yeah, it's insane.
10 PSUs, 5 VPXs, and 50 caps each. Dude.
Yeah.
Just to wait 2 days to craft 1 LEDX.
Yeah, so everybody was like, the craft is back, the craft is back. And then it was like, oh, the craft is not back. That's bullcrap. LOL, we just got debated. Like that was
nobody will ever craft that unless they have like 15 million rubles
and you don't
like
need
spare change, and you need like 1 LEDX for the last LEDX for a quest, and you've been looking for like a month. That's when people will be like, fine, I'll craft it.
Yeah. Now,
otherwise, nobody will ever.
Separately, they buffed LEDXs across the board. I don't know if you've noticed, there's static spawns for LEDXs everywhere. You know, on Woods,
the boxes by the scavs.
No, do you know on Woods there's like the USEC camp in the new area with like all the netting.
Oh, I was thinking shoreline. Sorry.
Yeah.
And
then
I know what you're talking
the
about.
second USEC camp where there's like the gurney where you can find like ophthalmoscopes. That's like a good I walked up to that the other day and there was a LEDX sitting on it, and I was like, that's sick. So I know of 3 confirmed static LEDX spawns on Woods, and
wait, static meaning it's there every single raid?
No, meaning it can spawn here. It wasn't like a lot of people find like I found a LEDX on customs, and I'm like, where? And they're like in a med bag. I was like, okay, well that wasn't that can be found anywhere. You just got really lucky, like, you know what I mean? So like places where like it was on the floor.
Did you see the I know of one on Shoreline.
I don't know where that is.
So you know how if you go out West Wing, like through the little hole in the fence, down the rocks, there's a truck with scavs?
Yeah.
There's cardboard boxes. I guess it can be there, I believe.
Interesting. Okay. And then there's a few on streets. I saw a bunch of screenshots of a few on streets as well. So that is cool.
I think they buffed the loot, dude, and it just feels better to find loot. Like,
yes, I mean that for sure. But like that's so nice because like so many people were like, I'm stuck on private clinic. I've been running Shoreline for days. You know what I mean? So to be able to farm Woods or Shoreline or streets for LEDXs and not necessarily need 300,000 ruble keys, that's kind of a dub in my opinion.
Okay, wait, I need a correction. Maybe that was a meme clip.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me if people started doing meme clips.
But the thing is, like, if you're gonna do a meme clip, don't at the end don't be like, this isn't a meme, guys. Like, seriously, this is real, and then have it be a found in raid LEDX.
Yeah.
And when you pick it up, have there be like you get XP for it.
Yeah, that's a big thing. If you got XP for it, that's I don't know how you
maybe I don't know. I'm gonna go to the wiki and see if they've added it there.
Yeah.
Dude, there's certain things that are like they're not funny jokes, they're not memey. There's certain unspoken rules.
Yeah. But either way, they definitely buffed the spawns of them and added new spawns, and that's definitely a dub. The other thing was the flea market rep. You can have more slots now, much easier. So you used to have to get to 30 flea market rep to get a 3rd slot, and now
I just noticed I had a 3rd slot.
Yeah, you need to get to 7 rep for a 3rd slot, and it's
because I've got 9 rep.
30 for the 4th one.
Jesus Christ, what's your rep at?
Like 12.
Yeah, I don't know how fast it goes up, but that's usually a pretty good indicator.
Air Wings is like 55. Like but he'll sell.
It's just the market goblin.
Yeah, and he'll sell stuff for less than the therapist value, like for the slots. Like he's trying to grind the slots, like so.
See, like to me, the slots are like, I hate to say it,
irrelevant.
Kind of irrelevant. Because I put everything up and it sells right away. The slots never add up.
Now, Airwing doesn't. Like guys like Airwing that play the market, he'll craft vodkas all day, and then when he goes to bed, he'll post them all for like 10,000, 20,000 rubles more per than the average price, because he knows that at night the market dips, and then when he wakes up the next morning, they're all bought. Like he plays, so he'll list stuff up and leave it there for a day, and it'll sell. I've never done that. I list for one less ruble than the lowest offer every time. Even with 2 slots, I almost never can't put something up. By the time I put my second one up, my first one's sold, and I cycle that. It doesn't really matter to me. But to some people that play the game.
Quantity, yeah, those high quantity sales, those act as like the threshold.
Yeah.
Where if you have something and there's 100 sales, someone sells one. Someone sells one cheaper, someone sells one cheaper, someone sells one cheaper, and you end up with like a bunch cheaper until those all sell, and then they hit that threshold.
Yes.
And then stuff goes. So it'll never, that acts as like the lower bound.
Because there's so many, it stalls there for a while, which gives people to list underneath the price. Yeah.
It's such a weird, the way that they've implemented the flea market and how the sales work and everything is like it feels like a very unique manifestation of, it's really like, it's not exactly quite supply demand.
Yeah.
It's more so, yeah.
Speaking of the flea market, the last thing that came in that hotfix, or it came a few days later than the hotfix, but we got, they have completely removed bartering for items on the flea market. Can't do that anymore.
And adjusted the taxes. Which is the big,
had to have happened in order for that to have any weight at all. It's very interesting. At first I wasn't against the change, but I didn't really understand it because I was like, I just hadn't really ever heard anybody talk about it too much. But the more I thought about it, it was like, man, 99% of the barters on the flea market are cheaters selling stuff for money, RMTers getting their RMT stuff to people, or scams. People trying to scam people. You know what I mean? Like just straight up.
Or trying to sell something where the fee is astronomical.
Yeah. Or not necessarily scams, but it's like, yeah, I need a dorm's safe key, and the only barters up for them are for taigas. And it's like, Jesus Christ, or red cards. You know what I mean? So so were there people that absolutely like found and raid, you know, whatever, and then you needed it, and I put up a bar, like, yeah, for sure. Like, I knew some people that put up some stuff and was like, I hope, you know, I found 7 moonshines and I need the Storm's key. Maybe someone will buy it, and they bought it, and he was like, okay, cool. But most of those barter transactions were not beneficial to the economy of Escape from Tarkov. And so now you can't do it. So I'll be interested to see what happens, right? Because I
wish I held on my blue key card.
Yeah.
Because now they're going for
probably big 20,
moolah.
30 mil.
And I got after, and this was actually like another streamer. We had to go through, and he had to I had to sell 3 or 4 different things for way above market just to have the amount, to have the 1.8 million to list it on the flea for 5 million for him to then trade a bunch of extra. It was like the blue key card for 5 million plus like these 3 keys plus like 3 evasion armbands, just so that like nobody would have the found and raid combination to actually sweep it out from under him. It's just such a hack together.
So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. I mean, like, if let's say you're an RMTer, you cheat, you have a bunch of stuff, and you sell it. Really, the only thing you can do now is carries, right? Because like, or the purchasing of money. Because like, if you have if I cheated to get a black key card and I wanted to sell that black key card for money, you cannot get that black key card to anybody because you can't barter it to somebody and you can't drop it for them in raid.
Well, wait, what if I put up? You can't put up a sale for cash as an item.
Exactly. So now
well, no, so you can. I mean, the only way you could do it is if you put up the key card for like 1 ruble and hope your buyer bought it, right?
Yes.
Like, that's the only way.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is too much of
a risk.
Gamble.
Yeah. So it feels like it's going to be back to just buying money, which even that is kind of hard to do because you can't drop much money in raid anymore.
But you could sell. Like, what happens if I go to sell like a balaclava?
Yeah, true. That would be for
like
10 million rubles. Yeah.
Let's see what that would. Oh, okay, I can't. Okay, let me do an evasion armband. for 10 million rubles. The fee is 9.7 million rubles.
Yeah. So I guess that's their thing where they were doing it where they adjusted the values. That is the benefit of hand adjusting values, where they can kind of, if they're, once again, this is a big fat if, but if they can keep their ear to the ground as to like what items in the game are valuable and only make those have higher values, well then if you're a level 1 pleb trying to buy stuff for money, you wouldn't have those things found and raid to put on the flea market for big money. So ultimately it feels like it was a big hit to RMT. You know what I mean? Because it feels like it forces people to do more grouping and carries and forcibly cheating, which hopefully gets them banned quicker, which makes it a riskier investment for them. And who knows? I don't know, right? Like, I don't know if I'm definitely not saying this is the end of RMT. This fixes everything. But it was interesting that the idea got brought up and then really quickly they acknowledged that they wanted to do it. And then a week later they did it. And then here we are. So it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, I really quickly have an idea that I wanted to float by you. And I just wonder if, because so much of the market depends on like these little tiny incremental prices where it's like, you know, like,
yeah,
if you have one store across the street from another store, why don't they always just undercut by $1, then undercut by $1, then undercut by $1, and like, thought experiment. What if you could only sell in like, let's just say 10,000 ruble increments, and you had to choose what it was? That would mean that like, if you wanted to sell a gun, right, and it was like someone was selling for 30K, you could sell for 20K, or you could put it in the batch of 30K.
Yeah.
And now I don't know, we could, you know, you could either do it so that it was random,
yeah,
or it was first come first serve. There's probably merit to either, but like, I don't know, I wonder if that wouldn't change, because then you might actually have, like, there's a world in which that is more true supply and demand, which is kind of funky saying like price restrictions would make it, but that would, I don't know, I just feel like the way it is now where you just constantly undercutting.
I completely agree with the sentiment, like that it feels weird now. I am not intelligent enough to communicate why it feels weird, or at all intelligent enough to know how to do economy stuff. But something does feel weird about going to the flea market and be like, I want to buy the cheapest one, it's out of stock. I want to buy the cheapest, it's out of stock. I want to buy the not cheapest one, it's out of stock. I want to buy the not cheapest one, it's out of stock.
That's why I want
to buy the cheapest, it's out of stock. I want to buy the cheapest one. Like, I want to be able to just go, I want to buy it for around this much money. Here it is. Because I know, like,
I'm glad you mentioned
because
that.
as a purchaser, right, I want to buy sugar for 47,000 rubles. It's not that the market is telling me, well, sugar is worth more than 47,000 rubles. You have to pay 52. That's not what the market is telling me. I try to buy that one for 47,000 and it's sold out. And then I try to buy that next, like, as I'm trying to buy it for 47,000 rubles, more people are supplying the market with them at 47,000 rubles. I just picked the wrong one. So it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like I want to buy this for cheap and the market says, no, it's worth more than that. It is worth 47,000 rubles. 100 people in the next 2 minutes will list it for 47,000 rubles. But because I clicked the wrong one, I have to play this stupid mini game. And so, like,
it breaks like weapon preset building where it's like, there's so many annoying things that come from that.
So it's like, once again, I don't know how to fix it because economy is complicated, but that just feels weird and not right, because I do know that the value of sugar is 47,000 and I have submitted to the game that that is the price I would like to pay for it. Give it to me, damn it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something, maybe the rounding is like to the nearest 100. Maybe it's 1,000, maybe it's 5,000, maybe it's different per item, right? Maybe bullets can be whatever. Right? Because it's got to be more granular, or maybe they would make it so that you could only sell 100 at a time. Like, almost like you would take your ammo and once you have 100, you can then make a box of it.
Oh, you know, interesting. Yeah,
boxing it, you know.
That would be cool.
you know, or something like that. But I don't know. That just feels like that might make some of the experiences a little less, while also maybe, yeah, I don't know, just a thought experiment that I wanted to have. But yeah, that was the original. I forgot the original point of that was like, because I hate trying to buy.
Yeah.
When you're crafting and you right click and do whatever, and you go click it, and then it takes you back to the screen. You're like,
because
half the time I go to click, I hit yes, and I'm already hitting escape.
Dude.
And then I notice the red error in the bottom, and I'm like, ugh!
By the way, whose actual April Fool's joke never got pulled out of the game? That when you buy something, sometimes it just pops up as a little red thing and all you have to do is keep clicking. And sometimes a dialogue box shows up that says offer sold out, and you have to click OK. It's like, what? Both things say the same thing. You didn't get that sugar. Why is that? Why are there two different things? And then I can actually be denied buying sugar 12 times and then get a CAPTCHA. Oh my God, I'm getting heated, bro. It's who made this? Like, it's insane, bro.
And then you get so tilted that you're like, you're going to click the first thing you see, and you pay $120,000 for the thing. And you're like,
dude, yes.
Especially in the weapon presets, dude. Like,
it tells
when there's only 7 advanced, you know, butt stocks or you know, buffer tubes, right? And you're like, 60,000 sold, 65,000 sold, 120,000, you got it. No.
It teaches you to do it as quick as possible, and then I click for an FP100 filter, and I buy one for 150K. That's 1 out of 300, and I'm like, it's so weird. So, and then what ends up weirdly happening is the market then you end up paying higher prices. Sometimes I'll just scroll 7 down and buy one for 10,000 rubles more. Which is insanity, because the market isn't telling me it's worth 10,000 rubles more. It's just like playing whack-a-mole when there's, you know what I mean, with water bottles when you're thirsty, when there's one right there for $10 more. It's like, for the love of God, I'm thirsty. You know what I mean? So I don't know how to fix it. A lot of people are saying buy orders, like most MMOs do, where like I can't list anything for sale, but I can say I want to buy this for this. And then if I have the item, I just search through the buy orders.
But then don't
complete that order.
But doesn't that just move the goalpost to where you're like, I want to buy, I want to give you the, I want.
Yeah, like, true. Where that system could end up being the same, where it's like, oh, that's a good deal, let me try that, but it was gone. Or true.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how to do it, but it's insane, bro. I mean, setting up orders, like buy orders on the flea market, saying like, I would like 3 sugars at this price or below, and then letting the server do that would be nice, you know what I mean? But I don't know if that's a band-aid or the solution. Once again, economy stuff is mad weird. I don't know how games do it. Like EVE Online is probably like the big one when it comes to like an in-game economy. I don't know how they do this kind of stuff. I don't know how it's supposed to be done.
I mean, it's
annoying.
That's not a band-aid so much as I think it's a quality of life improvement. Like, it's another feature that would be great.
Yeah.
To be able to say, like, because then I might not have been thinking about selling the paracord, but someone really needs it right now and they want to overpay. Like, cool, I can benefit because I have it. It doesn't fix that problem. I mean, the only thing I've been able to come up with is that kind of like round off.
Yeah.
And this was actually my solution that I proposed way back in the day when everybody was flipping out about the bots, the flea market bots.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was even worse, because before you had the countdown.
Yep.
You'd post it and it would be available for sale in 60 seconds. So you would have now, like the way it works now is you go to that screen and anybody who has been to that screen and refreshed within like a 3-second window, all of you are fighting over it.
Yep.
Back in the day, it used to be anybody who's looked at water filters within 60 seconds are all waiting.
It was
so now there's 1 million people. Rather than having 7 people, there's 1 million people all waiting to click. So your chances of getting it is 1 in 1 million, which means it's 0.
And
everybody would think it was a bot.
Yes. And when you put something up for sale, people had 60 seconds to undercut you before it went for sale. So a whole page of lower priced ones would come up before yours was even available for purchase. And you were like, well, what?
Which is why I kind of wanted to say, like, just have there be these tiers, which will round off the prices. It'll get rid of this annoying, minuscule undercutting. And at the same time, it's like, you won't have to undercut by 10,000. or by 9,000 or whatever, it would actually make it less clicks to say like put it for sale for this.
Yeah.
Because let's say there's 100 things for sale, and 2 of them or 1 of them is at like the 10,000 range, and then 99 of them are at 20,000. You're like, oh, you know what? I'll put it for 20,000, and there's a good chance that
eventually
it'll go buy into that second tier, right? Because you're
yeah.
But instead,
at that point, the flea market slots might be more beneficial if you're putting up something not for 1 ruble cheaper, but if you're putting it in a bank of 10,000 sugars for 47,000 rubles. Most likely that will sell, even if it's chronological. You're putting it in the bank, and the bank is always churning because thousands of people are always buying sugar for 47,000, but it won't sell instantly. So then at that point, maybe the extra slots play much more of a role.
Yeah, and then because right now there's as many items for sale as there are sales.
Yeah.
In this case, there would be 3 sales for every item.
Yeah.
It would just be so much easier to comb through things. You wouldn't have to scroll. You would.
That's what I
mean?
wanted for barters when they were there. It's like if somebody wants this thing for why do I have to scroll through 11 pages of Dorm's Marks key barters? Like, you know what I mean? Just make it.
That would have been a solution to RMT. Make it so that when you go to do the barter. Well, actually, maybe not. I was gonna say, never mind. But that would make it so that it's effectively anonymous.
Exactly. Yeah, true.
You wouldn't be looking at names.
Yeah.
You would just be looking at I want to buy one of these sales.
Yeah. Oh,
and if it was randomized, but I don't think that would necessarily fix the RMT thing because they're gonna put up lopsided value trades.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
So it's definitely weird and complicated and doesn't feel very intuitive the way that it is. But the removing the barters. I cannot.
Look what I did to I broke.
Look what you did to your boy.
ADD fidgeting with my capo. It's completely broken.
Damn.
I don't know where my beard comb went. I think I threw it the other day playing Tarkov.
Your hot dog beard comb?
Yeah, dude, I'm sad. I need it.
Okay, so that's that. The flea market change. W, hopefully we'll see. They also removed the examining of items, by the way.
Most items.
Most items.
My chat completely froze. I just realized that people have been chatting and I haven't seen anything.
Oh, really? I think just keys. I think it's just keys that still need to be examined. But that's a huge W in my opinion.
Oh my god, dude! But think about I'm able to get to level 2 every wipe just by examining level 1 traders.
Times I've heard that. Dude, people are like, now I can't get I can't get to level 2 and go do Jaeger on my first raid. I'm like, damn, you're right. You'll have to do it on your second raid. What an inconvenience. You know what I mean? Like getting level 1 to level 2 is not that hard. Sneeze on a scav and then nade yourself and you're level 2. For the love of God. Yeah.
Speaking of, dude, I had a daily quest today that was extract from some of the daily quests have been nuts. Exfil from gate 3 times, and it was you want 33,000 XP, 2 of the 3 TBG stims that the last one I needed for samples that I've never seen before. It was 2 of those, 180,000 rubles, 2 military circuit boards, and 2 propitols, and I was like, okay, go out gate 3 times. They're just absurd, and that's why I hate how I'll kill a 3-man, loot a bunch of rooms, exfil, and I'll have 4,200 XP, and I'm it's cool on one hand, you get all this XP, and on the other hand, it's why am I even playing the game when I can sit in a bush and do my daily quests?
You at level 45, you'll get a daily quest that'll give you 5,000 XP. At level 46, you'll get a daily quest that gives you 50,000 XP.
That's why I just hit. I'm 48 now. That must have been when I hit a threshold.
Yep, you hit 46 is the threshold. I've had dailies post 46 dailies that will like survive labs 18 times in one day, and the reward is like 20,000 XP and 3 rolls of toilet paper. And then I've seen screenshots of people that it's like kill 12 scavs on any location and they get 50,000 XP in a weapon case. It's just like so weird how it's all formulated.
Wait, exiting woods 23 times.
Is that your weekly?
It's my weekly, and I don't think I've ever done a weekly in my life.
Weeklies are 23 nuts times. Post 46.
200,000 XP.
Yep.
470,000 rubles.
Yep.
101 rounds of BP 762. 106 rounds of the PAB-9.
Oh, for the Val, yeah.
The Val, a military gyro, a can of Dr. Lubo's beans, and Prapor plus 05. I got to make sure I get the rep for Prapor so that later when I replace a bunch of... Dude, I regressed Jaeger twice.
No shot.
Because you know, like the last quest that you need, like if you do most of the quests, you end up with like 0.1 away. And then the day I unlocked them, I'm like, max level traders. And I'm like, nah, this daily sucks. And I was like, replace it. It was like level 3 Jaeger. I'm like, no, dude.
That's brutal.
I was so mad at myself. I did that twice.
I'm so scared to do it. I don't replace too many dailies because I'm scared to regress.
You can't see.
No. Once you get to the level, it should let you know what your standing is and what the threshold for 4 is. So you know how close you are. Yeah. But yeah, so the examining thing is interesting. Did you see, I'm sure your chat kind of blew up about it, but did you see the news about like the raid on the cheater hub? Yeah. So apparently like the Chinese government raided this like hub of cheaters and seized their servers and all sorts of stuff. And I've heard a bunch of conflicting information apparently, and this makes more sense to me, that they're just like a big cheat developer company that like there's a lot of PUBG cheats as well, but they also had a lot of Escape from Tarkov cheats. But the actual Chinese like government raided this place, seized their servers. The cheaters were freaking out. I've seen some people have screenshots that cheaters saying like it should be up by like everything should be up and ready to roll by later today. Some people saying
2 hours.
Yeah, some people saying like we're cucked. You know what I mean? Like we're not going to be able to retrieve any information. So interesting. Anyways, huge dub on those scum of the earth getting kicked in the nuts. You know what I mean? Like,
and I've heard everything from Goat's videos responsible.
Oh,
which is like I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but how is that?
Yeah.
How is that connection made? I mean, there's a world in which that's the case
somehow,
that, like,
some way.
Some like the Prime Minister of China saw the video on YouTube and was like, "We must do something," you know. But then I've also heard people say that like, didn't Nikita say they were going to go after the cheaters like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
And I'm like wondering, could that have anything to do? And I'm like, well, I just don't.
I don't know.
Man.
In the AMA, they literally said, Nikita said that they're working on pursuing legal action against cheaters. So once again, I don't know that like what it kind of,
you know, Russia and China are pretty friendly. Actually, you know, like that's not the craziest connection.
What makes the most logical sense is that like it was for either other illegal activities that was happening at that location, like credit cards or theft or something like that, or some of the other cheats as well. Either way, they had multiple thousands of daily active users. They got hit really hard. Nobody knows, like, you know, whatever. But it was just, you know, a little vindicating and pretty joyous to see, you know, pain and suffering virtually brought to these people and their cheats.
Dude, have you not had? I've had multiple instances where I almost feel like I'm being trolled. Multiple instances where it'll be like first time chatter or whatever, and you'll see, hey man, is it just me? Tell me what your experience is. But this last week, I haven't seen any cheaters. And then 10 minutes later, someone will say, dude, is it just me or have the cheaters gone up tenfold?
Oh yeah.
And it's like, dog, what do I say to that?
Yep.
And of course, I've been playing early in the morning, so I've already changed a massive variable in the experiment. So I'm like, I don't know, man. We're kind of just, nobody knows, right? Is it 60? Is it 30? Is it 20? Is it 90? Is it 50? Like no one knows. No one can know. And we're still unknowable.
And most of us are staring in the wrong direction. Most of us are literally looking at something else. There are like, there is a non-zero amount of people that have a day where they don't die to any noticeably desync deaths and then come into people's chat and say, it feels like the cheating's gotten better since the GOAT video. I'm glad BSG is finally doing something. Like most of the time, most of us are looking at the wrong direction. We're looking at networking, and it's just, yeah, like you said, it is an unknowable situation here. You know what I mean? One full-blown rage hacker, like if in your first few raids of the day, like a spin bot, like the guy that got me on Woods, a spin botting rage hacker kills you, that sets you up emotionally for failure that day, right? And,
yeah, you're like, it's going to be a shit day.
You're going to say at the end of that day, the cheating situation really sucks, even though that might be the first rage hacker you saw in months. You know what I mean? And then similarly, on the other end of the spectrum, you might have a day where you were in 18 raids with cheaters who are RMTing that avoided you with your ESP. You didn't die to any desync, and you said, it's been feeling great, brother. And you were in raids with cheater all day. You just like, it is an unknowable thing with too many variables, and too many parts of the game suck dick, like the audio and the networking, which convince all of us that like 6,000 hours, 10,000 hours, literal developers of the game get duped by the game's current shortcomings into thinking it's cheater. So it's just like, it's just like, basically I at this point, unless somebody's coming off really hostile towards me, I'm just there to let them know their feelings are valid. When people are like, the cheating sucks in this game, it's so bad, I'm just like, dude, you're right. It is bad, and I'm sorry you're dealing with it. When people are like, dude, I don't really feel cheating, I'm like, I'm glad you're having a good day, dude. I'm just like here to like mirror your feelings and let you know you're okay, because I cannot speak to it. I can't, and I can't lose my mind trying to tell everybody, well, you know, you might be. It's just like, I'm here, you know what I mean? I'm here to have a good time.
Take a book out of Jesse's.
I'm here to have a good time, and just whatever you need, I'm here for you. You know what I mean? When people get aggressive towards me or towards other people or whatever, that's when I'm like, get out of here. But it's just like, there's too much information, and I don't know any of it. So I'm just here to vibe and play the game. Yeah. There was that Reddit AMA. Did you read through that? We definitely don't have to go through all the questions, but like, did you see? So there was the AMA, like, so Nikita started going ham on Reddit, and we talked about that a little bit. And then the next day he actually said, he posted a thread that said, ask me anything. And then he went crazy answering questions. And then BSG like officially put a bunch of the questions together and posted it on their forums, the questions and Nikita's answers. Did you like go through that at all?
I'm trying to remember. I've seen bits and pieces of it like all over the place, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Which is fine. We definitely don't want to have to go through question by question. Most of it are either rough questions or answers we've heard before, or vague non-answers. You know what I mean? But there were some nuggets of information in there. It was interesting. Nikita said that between 70 and 120,000 concurrent players on an average basis right now. 2 months into what?
70 and
70 to 120,000 is where it sits, which was interesting. Because one of the questions was, on average,
concurrent.
The question was, on average, how many people play EFT at any given time? He said hundreds of thousands every day. And then the guy said, keep in mind, he said every day, meaning he's probably not talking about concurrent. And then Nikita responded and said, online varies from 70 to 120K lately.
Now, I wonder, what I want to know is, at any given snapshot in time, what percentage of the player base
are just
is loading into raid or in raid, and how many of them are sitting there AFK in a hideout, crafting, or on the flea market watching streamers play because they don't want to play the game?
No, for sure. That's a genuine question. No, I'm not
like,
saying.
if there's that many people, what I want to know is, like, I want someone to do a analysis, and someone's going to do it, and then I'm going to call their analysis into question, and then people are going to say I'm butthurt because I didn't do it. But an analysis on, like, at any given time, if there's X amount of people playing, how many of those people are in raid versus how many people at any given snapshot in like a 2-minute period are queuing up for a particular map? Because it's like, why does it take so long to queue sometimes? Is it that their queuing system is dog at putting people together? Or are there just, like when I'm sitting there and it's like looking for players, is it like, are you actually can't find 6 other players that want to play customs right now?
Yeah.
Or are they in queue? You just have to find that like I'm like trying to figure out.
I've wondered a lot of the same things. Yeah, like today we were playing Streets of Tarkov, the new and premier map, and there were multiple times we were waiting for players for like up to 3 consecutive minutes of just sitting there waiting for players, me and Trey, and it was like there's no shot, there's not 8 other players, you know what I mean?
I think, devil's advocate on that, Streets runs like dog shit on so many people's machines that I think a lot of people just avoid it. I haven't run Streets in like almost a month because I can't stand.
True.
I can't stand getting
now,
20 frames.
A lot of people don't realize it, but it is a lot better now.
Well, yeah. So there you go. That's good to know. But
not that they've communicated that. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised that you'd have to wait a long time on that map. But like today, I was in queue, and it was like once I hit 5 minutes as a PMC raid on daytime customs, I'm like something is wrong. Like what the is going on? You know? Dude, customs. I feel like I have the least amount of luck on that map lately, dude. That map is.
That's Lighthouse for me this wipe. I really enjoyed Lighthouse in previous wipes, but this wipe I'm just like I don't want to play the map at all.
Dude, once I got the Red Rebel,
that's huge.
Reserve is lit.
Yeah,
it changed. I never have to go D2 ever again.
Never.
That's actually a huge, and it was far more affordable than I thought. Like I always forget that there's that barter trade.
Yep, that's not too bad. Not too bad.
That's like 15 propane, 10 fuel conditioner, 15 D fuel. Oh, dude, I killed I almost said I killed Jaeger. Glue car.
Okay.
Got my weapon case, sold the weapon case, got 8 mil. 8 mil was gone by the next day.
Yeah. I don't know who's buying weapon cases for 8 mil, by the way, because like
I don't know, but dude, I'm fine with it.
I know.
I would never pay 8 mil for a weapon case. It's such a useless. The thick weapon case and the thick item case made item cases and weapon cases garbage.
Yeah, item cases and okay. I think the weapon case is great, and here's why: because it's cheap relative to the thick weapons case. The reason I don't know why people are paying 8 mil for weapons cases, and this is what I did, and this is what Valiant did, and everyone I know did. You get the weapons case from killing Gluhar, you sell it for 8 million, and the barter is less than $1 million. It's like not for 900,000 rubles. You can buy everything you need off the flea market right now, and barter for one that's never out of stock.
It might be people with a lot of money that don't have the flea market unlocked, or they just don't know because
it's
exclude
insane.
Barter.
It's been this way for 3 wipes. For 3 to 4 wipes, as soon as I kill Gluhar, I sell it for 8 million and I barter for one for 700K, and then I just pocket the extra money. I don't understand. Anyways, so for between 700K and $1 million, you can barter for a weapons case. And I think that's great because the thick weapons cases, like you get the one for the quest, if you want another one, I think the items case needs to be cheaper because like that's the thing is exactly, if you're going to have these big ones that are valuable and expensive, make the ones in game. Don't just like it's like 15,000 euros for an items case when it's like, I'll just save up for something else, buy like a bunch of backpacks or save for my thick weapons case. It's like they should be like just under $1 million, 700K, 800K for like an items case would be great. Cause that helps the casuals too. It's more accessible cases than the thick cases that help with stash management. You know what I mean?
And cases don't affect anybody else.
No one, dude.
That's why it's like, who cares, right? Like, if a bunch of people, if all the, it's a stack of, 60 BP ammo has a single 60 round mag full of BP ammo. 60 round of BP. Don't think too hard about that.
Yeah.
That has more of an impact on the game, on other people than a weapons case.
Yep. So let people
so
do
they
that,
should just,
you know what I mean?
They should just make the global stash, the global economy, just like make it unlimited. Like so many of those barters too. Like,
sure.
Like why does there need to be limitations
yeah.
on the global supply? Like if I have the money and I save up for something and I wait 3 hours, I should be able to buy it in a video game.
Exactly.
And any other argument against it, sorry, your argument's invalid.
It's just like
you're not a game designer.
I don't know. Some of the other stuff from the Q&A, he like praised the Lord. I've been singing the hymns all week. He finally mother effing acknowledged that the interchange lighting is bad. Like somebody was like, please God, fix the lighting on interchange. It's so bad. And he like responded. He was like, yes, it's bad. We need to do it differently. And then someone else like, is there any sort of lighting rework? Interchange is discussing. Is there something happening? And he was like, yes. So acknowledge that interchange lighting sucks. Thank Christ. They talked a little bit.
Oh, won't hold my breath. I'll wait until I can see an interchange before I will rejoice.
I'm not holding my breath. The W is specifically that he finally acknowledged that it's bad. Because I felt like every other time it was brought up, he was like, it's supposed to be dark. Like it was just a misunderstanding of what was happening, like we've talked about so many times. So for him to be like, yes, it's bad, we need to do it differently, I'm definitely not holding my breath, but at least I know he knows. You know what I mean? Some other stuff in there about like networking and stuff. And once again, this is the copium and it's what they've said. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but they've said that they're like, the goal was that they were basically able to like completely rework and write from the ground up or use something different from the ground up, netcode for Arena, and that's basically the testing ground to be able to bring it. So there was questions about the netcode and about certain stuff, and he was like, we're doing a lot of this work for Arena, and hopefully it comes over. I don't know how all that works. He talked about more info on Arena coming soon. He talked about maybe there being a replay feature in Arena. So yeah, I don't know. It was interesting.
I heard the rumor that they said, and maybe it was what you were just talking about, but people are like, yeah, did you hear Nikita said they're making the replay system?
Yeah,
is that what?
It's confusing because, and that question was asked many times. I saw in some of the on Reddit, there were some responses where he was like, it is a planned feature we are making for Escape from Tarkov. And then in other responses, he was like, it will be an Arena. And so it was kind of confusing. I mean, like if you wanted to screenshot it, I mean, it literally, there was times where people asked about it and he said like, it's coming to Tarkov. So, which once again, like we've said before, I don't think that I would love a replay feature. Like, I don't think that would be bad. I think that would be amazing. It just wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like fix the cheaters, right? Like it would be an awesome, cool tool, but it's not like the savior of the cheating situation. So I would love a replay feature, bro. I would love that.
Just as long, dude. What I want is, not OBS to crash. Like actual proper like camera controls, and I mean like just because I think the content, like to me, I actually personally care more about the content than I do about a lot of other things. Because I think like the cheating stuff, it's all just gonna come out in the wash. Like a bunch of sus players are gonna look legit. A bunch of legit players are gonna look sus. A bunch of sus players who were more blatant before are now going to be less blatant, but it doesn't change what we're going to all feel like we're getting cheated. We're just going to watch the replay and maybe have, less of a, whatever. Maybe people will stop wiggling at each other through walls, but then they'll come up with some other way of doing it. Like they'll reload at each other through walls multiple times, or, like some other. But then, again, it's why I made that like little infographic, the circle where it's like, yeah, but I don't care about the cheaters. I just want to learn from it. Well, but if you make it so that you can see the replay, then people are going to pull them up, and then their friends are going to be able to call out where they got killed from. And it's like, oh, well, make sure that it's only available after raid. And it's like, oh my God, it's the same over and over and over again. But man, if you just can have a camera and change the depth of field, and even like, there's no way it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But like the ability to like keyframe the camera over time and to be able to fast scrub through, and that would be amazing. Like basically like what I did for Trackmania.
Yeah,
because the Trackmania content I made is the coolest, sickest, most like cinematic. To imagine being able to like zoom in on somebody like running, and then they stop and go to aim, and it's like zooms in, pans in really close, depth of field, and then goes from 1x to 2x.
Slow-mo.
And then you see the bullet come out of the chamber with the it would be so rad, right? But instead it's probably going to be some jank ass like Call of Duty Overwatch, not even as good as that, but I mean, I hope I'm wrong.
Well, and he said they're also still planning on free cam and offline, so like that would be sick to be able to get 12 buddies into a streets raid and like do some of that stuff like in like separate from the replay system, being able to just like set up fights and free cam for stuff like that. But yeah, so that was interesting. The Q&A. And then Oh, he talked about vaulting is coming soon.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, we'll see.
Vaulting soon, TM.
See, the thing is it vaulting, or is it going to be like mantling 4 different surfaces, or is it going to be? We'll have vaulting before we'll have stepping over branches.
Yeah. I would take that first personally. Just like, let me step over small objects before, you know what I mean? Like, I would take that any day over being able to like mantle up onto like a jump over a fence. Let me just like there's the little literal like garden 6-inch tall garden stakes on streets that like, and you have to jump. You have to do a full jump's worth of stamina to get over this 6-inch thing. You know what I mean? It's like, Jesus, let me just like step over it.
Dude, I've said straight up a number of times, there's no chance we have vaulting in this game. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I hope I've been wrong about that, but just given, basically, I said like vaulting, where we are in like the development process, vaulting is like one of the hardest things that they could ever add.
Yeah, given the spaghetti of their code and the complexity of the maps and the different surfaces, and nothing is consistent.
I mean, you're going to end up vaulting into the void. You're going to be outside of the map, and you're going to start getting killed by people who have clipped out of the map because of such and such a thing, because they're going to have to then test and debug 800 billion things that you could possibly climb up. Like, there's just so many potential issues. You'd run up
to a wall for cover and just like vault over it and then get shot by the guy on the other side.
Oh my god, dude, I can't even get stuck into like a 7-minute animation.
Yeah.
Where it's like you pull out your grappling hook and you're like, it just pulls up a like vaulting.mp4, your screen fades to black, you see a video, all of a sudden it comes up and it's basically you exfilled from one side of the fence and then infilled on the other. That's open world, baby.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it. That's the Tarkov stuff, at least. We'll see what happens. Another thing is, so throughout the AMA, multiple times he referenced a big technical patch coming in April. Hopefully sooner, so probably like July. But so that's something to potentially be on the lookout for in the next 6 to 8 weeks, is like, which they normally do, some sort of like kind of big point patch 2 to 3 months after a wipe. Also the other big takeaway, this is big. The other big takeaway from the AMA is that they basically confirmed that they're like pausing all big features that aren't necessary for 1.0. Like he said that he was like, there won't be any more big features coming until the release of the game, that they're like, which obviously big features is vague, right? Like we might need a map.
It's not like the armor plating.
Yeah, I think stuff like that. But big features is just vague, right? Because like we might need a Streets expansion for there to be a location for one of the storyline quests that is required for the game to go 1.0. So like, I think big features is a vague thing, but I think what they, language barrier, Reddit AMA, who knows? But I think what they were trying to communicate was that they are trimming the fat, they're trying to optimize, and they're just trying to get to 1.0 with what's necessary and get that working well. We'll see.
Dude, I mean, like, here's the thing. Would you have Tarkov 1.0 that didn't have open world, didn't have like customizable rigs, it didn't have any new maps or any new guns, but the net code was like 75% better?
Yes.
And the sound was working?
Yes. I would. There was a point in time where I
think I'd probably agree.
Yeah, there was a point in time where bright-eyed, bushy-tailed Jesse would have told you no. You know what I mean? And there's still a part of me that wants like open world more than anything. But where I'm at right now, I would absolutely take 1.0. No new maps, no new guns, no new mechanics. What we have with the storyline quests and maybe Streets expanded with good netcode and good audio, I would take that. The game is so close to being just the best game ever. But
the question is though, but even like, let's say they did that, right? Why, without wipes, maybe they're gonna do wipes, right?
Yeah.
But like, without wipes, why play 9 months after you have Kappa. Like,
oh yeah,
it'll be a new game time
for sure. That's kind of a separate conversation though, because we still don't know what we still don't know. This is going down the rabbit hole of like, we don't know what their original plan was. We don't know what their current plan is. We don't know if those things have changed. So to speak on that, I don't know. They could have a plan, a rock solid plan, just like the storyline quest. The storyline quest is a good example. They know that what they want, they know how they're going to be in the game. They're not implemented yet, but they don't want to tell us. They could know exactly how they want to execute a 1.0, where like they had said way back in the day, where like there's going to be seasons and characters that don't wipe and characters that do. Maybe they're just like, you know what, we're going to keep wipes up forever. Some games do that, but not knowing, I don't know. You're absolutely right. Right now, with what we have, 1 year after, you know what I mean, a year into a wipe where there were no wipes in the future, yeah, of course, nobody would, you know what I mean? It would change things. So we just don't know what their plans are or how they're planning on changing it.
Now, what if there was wipes? Even that, I don't know. Like part of the reason why like I keep playing and keep coming back, even with the wipes, is the tiny bit of new content that lasts me like a month, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like the excitement for what it might be in the future, right? So for
sure.
If they went to 6-month wipes and released the game as it was today, and they fixed all the bugs, yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know that this cycle would be enough to keep. I just can't even think of conceptually like what could.
I get that.
Even with a full storyline quest thing, like there's no way that even if it was Lightkeeper times 2, yeah. I don't know. I just wonder like what would be the thing.
I agree. I don't know. I mean, it could be they could just do seasons instead of like DLCs where it's just seasons, 6-month seasons where they change variables or make adjustments to maps or make adjustments to traders or whatever like that. That would work for a while. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely agree with what you're saying, though, that so much of the excitement around wipes is the progression towards what the game, you know what I mean, wants to be, and the new features and new things. So yeah, I don't know what that answer is, but I also feel like we're so far away from 1.0 that it's just meaningless. Like because I think that some of the things that happen between now and 1.0 will inform how we think about 1.0, and then also all of the secrets that they're keeping around 1.0 are going to inform what we think about 1.0. That in no way means I'm like, they have a plan, Veritas, it'll be great. I definitely concede that there's a future where they're like, here it is, it's the game, it's 1.0, we've stopped wiping, and I stopped playing 9 months into that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's not a reality, but I'm just saying like there's so many things that could happen between now and then, or so many plans they could have yet to be executed on. That
you said if they're halting feature dev though, like then that to me makes me think 1.0 is closer than we thought. Otherwise, we're gonna have no new features and maybe some content.
Yeah, that's why I think it was.
It's either short or it's a long time without new features, which is like.
That's why I think what he said was confusing, because I think what he meant was there will be new big features. They will just be the features that are required to get us to the 1.0 they want. And they're cutting, and along the way, you know this better than I do. Along the way, they've been like, we want to do this. This would be cool. We want to do like custom armor hitboxes. That has no bearing on the story. That has no bearing on open world. Has no bearing on anything.
It's probably not going to change the TTK.
Exactly. But it's cool. And in a world where we could snap our fingers and have it, I think we would all have it. So I think that's the thing. I think they're going back and being like, this isn't necessary. This won't change anything. And they're just streamlining, like, let's get to 1.0. So that's why I think it was confusing. I do think that there will be new features between now and 1.0. They will just be only the required features.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well,
oh, yeah. He also mentioned something about doing a roadmap sometime soon. Which?
I mean, I suppose like the closer you get, the more.
Yeah, the easier that becomes.
Because there's just less things. Less unknowns.
Yeah, especially if they just went through an internal thing where they were trimming features. Like if they just had this conversation not too long ago where they were like, for the love of God, we got to get this to 1.0. What's not necessary? What is necessary? And now they have that plan. They might be like, okay, maybe we can start kind of creating some sort of roadmap you know.
I would imagine, like, honestly though, I would imagine that Nikita at this point is probably, like, I don't want this to come off like I'm accusing him of wanting to just like dump the game and run, but it's been like a decade, dude. It's been like a quarter of this guy's life he's been working on this game. He made a bunch of money. Like, he probably just like, if I was him, I would want to move the on.
Yeah, and this was supposed to be the intro game to Russia 2028.
Yeah,
you know what
dude,
I mean?
like, so
yeah.
You know how many jobs I've been at that after 3 years I'm like, I need a new job. Because I need to move on. I can't imagine 7 to 10 years of the same. Not to mention the fact that, like, look how much the man's aged. You know, like, I mean, I'm the same way. Look at me, from dealing with this, and I'm sure he's, you know, I mean.
So I agree though. I agree with what you're saying, and I think that wouldn't be a wrong sentiment for him to have. Exactly. So, like, I'm very curious. I'm curious to see, like, where they are and what those features are and what they're planning on doing. But hopefully they optimize, they get to and honestly, in a perfect world, in my opinion, they get to 1.0 and it's good. And then they keep adding those other features and they keep adding to the game. It's just, we need to get that vertical slice. We need to get everything in the game working. And then if you want to add, you know what I mean? Like that would have ideally been what happened from the beginning was, you know, but I digress. So that's the Tarkov stuff, dude. We'll see. I think over the next, I think, you know, things might slow down for a little bit. I think in the next 6 to 8 weeks, maybe we'll hear about, this patch that's coming up. I think that'll be after everything that's happened, after how catastrophically this wipe started. And then already all the drama and everything with your video and all the, like, the huge, like, we've had the most polarizing moments this wipe ever.
Dude.
There was more hype going into this wipe than any other wipe. There were lower lows at the beginning. There were higher highs than there have ever been after your video. There were even lower. We broke our own new record for low lows recently with the cheating thing. So with all of that in mind, I'm very interested to see what the next kind of, like, patch would be in April or so, if they do a podcast about it, what that's like. So I don't know. Yeah. So interesting stuff, but that's the Tarkov stuff. Have you heard at all? Have you been seeing anybody play the game, The Finals?
No, I've heard people talk about it. Wait, is that the one where it's like money?
Yeah.
The money related, almost like BR kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like it gives me vibes of a lot of the BRs that kind of came out. There was like that one, The Culling, and then there was also another one that was kind of like 80s sort of themed. I remember watching the doc.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, to me, I don't know. Like,
it's interesting.
The BR genre is kind of, I've lost interest in it, especially another one where it's like you don't even have to be the last to survive. Also, kind of like, I feel like takes away some of it, but maybe it's the opposite. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not really a BR. It's more of a, like, it basically what it is like every round you queue into is a bracketed competition. So, like, when you queue into a new round, it's I forget how many teams, but it's teams of 3. I'm gonna make this up because I don't know. 8 teams of 3. If you lose, you just go out and you queue in with your buddies into another one. Very casual. If you win, you go to the next level, where now it's 6 teams of 3. And then if you win that, you go to the next level. And if you win that, it's like you against one other team or something. And you go to the finals and you, like, win. So it's like kind of BR in the sense of you want to keep progressing and like beat the other teams, but it's not BR. Like, there are respawns. Like, when you die, you can respawn.
But like, only with teammates. Right?
Yeah.
Like, your teammates have to res you, right?
Well, you have like a certain number of respawn tokens where you can respawn after a certain amount of time if your teammates don't res you, or your teammates can res you. So it's unique for sure. I haven't played it. I've watched it. It's unique.
Oh, is it out? I didn't think it was even out yet.
The beta is out. Yeah. So they did an alpha test a while ago, and then the beta test is going on right now. So it's interesting. What's interesting about it is it's a lot of the devs from DICE, the old Battlefield games, the good Battlefield games, started this company.
Okay.
So, Veritas, when I say that this game is what every game up until this point has wanted to be with destructibility, the only games that can compete with this are like the voxel art games. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I saw some of the I saw Jack Fragg's
Yes, I watched
video.
Jack Fragg's video where he was like systematically taking down buildings, and the whole thing came down. Like the heavy guy has like a supercharged shoulder dash he can do every once in a while that you can like break through walls. RPGs, C4s. The destructibility is insane and really cool how the map evolves over time as it gets more destroyed, and like really insane plays where like, because you have to like wait at the golden thing for the money box to come out and then go take it over here, where like teams are waiting and then people just blow up the floor and all the physics work where the money box comes down and now it's on your level and you can steal it. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy at insane cool AAA graphics. A big concern a lot of people have had is like the time to kill is too long. Like it's kind of like crazy, bro.
That. Yeah.
So like hopefully they balance that a little bit, but it definitely seems interesting. Once again, it's not like I spend
Outer Wild.
I was just gonna say it's not like I spend a lot of time playing other games anyway, but it just looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say Outer Wilds beat them to the real-time destructibility of maps. There's a planet called Brittle Hollow with it's literally like an encasing around a black hole, and like chunks are just falling into the black hole. Like
that's insane.
That's real-time destructibility, baby.
That's freaking nuts. But yeah, so
I think that's like it in Tarkov land.
Yeah,
man.
that's all the gaming stuff. It's been one hell of a show these past few weeks, huh?
Yeah, dude. Yo, I've been on something we haven't talked about in a while that we talked a bunch about back in the day. I've been on a binge, and I've kind of been out of content to watch, but I went on a binge where I was watching a ton of like woodworking.
Oh, nice.
Woodworking stuff, like a lot of those slab tables or like the river epoxy tables. Basically, like Blacktail Woodworking, Four Eyes Furniture, I think, like those channels on YouTube. They make some really cool, just like chill, vibey, making these gorgeous woodworking stuff, and I like I really like the vibe of those two channels.
That's cool.
And then I, got into watching all the blacksmithing, Damascus, knife making stuff, which I love. And then of course you end up in like Forged in Fire, like that kind of game show. And then somehow I ended up lately down a rabbit hole where I've been watching either the like old timey hard candy making,
I know
like
exactly
the old
what you're
school.
talking about. Yep.
I think there was like a video that went viral, at one point, that then it ended up in everybody's algorithm where it was like, was it like Lofty Pursuits, I think? I don't know if it was like Vice or someone did a video where it was like the owner of this thing talking about, making like the hard candy, and it's just so satisfying watching them like just pour out like sugar on a table and then have it dry. And oh god, I've been watching a bunch of that. And then somehow I ended up down a rabbit hole of like horseshoe, like hoof maintenance bullshit, where it's like you have like a horse with its like hoof cracked in half or something, and then they have to like, it's so, I don't know why, it's like oddly satisfying seeing them like take a knife,
scrape it away,
and like scrape away. And I know nothing about horses, like none of that stuff, and you just feel like, oh, like it has to be, and you just see the horses are just chilling.
Yep.
While they're sitting there like burning on the horseshoes, and that's just like a world I'd never. Is it farrier? When I keep reading, I've never heard anybody pronounce the word. I just keep seeing it in the titles. Is it farrier, or there's a world in which it's like Ferrier? Is it French?
Foira.
Yeah, I don't know. Ferrara, Ferrera, Ferrier Richard chocolates. Those are my favorite. Yeah. The Ferrier Richard chocolates is my favorite. I've been down a rabbit hole, but I'm out of content. The only thing now that I've been watching lately is whenever me and my wife need something to watch, because we've gone through Cops 17 times, is we watch Penn and Teller's Fool Us.
Oh yeah.
That's just always a classic, because Penn and Teller are legends, dude. I love everything about those guys.
I have fallen down a YouTube rabbit hole as well. I have been watching so many Rust, the video game Rust. I played Rust one time in my life. Rust videos.
Really?
Yes,
I can't stand
dude.
watching that game, dude. Is it good?
It's because it's the same reason why I fell down JLK's rabbit hole.
JLK, I was gonna say. Is it one creator that's good?
There's like 7. In Rust, there's like 7 JLK quality guys where it's just like, and the reason why I've been watching it is because like I love the concept of emergent gameplay. I love the concept that the game goes, here are the tools, and you can be having fun playing this game for 10, 20,000 hours if you want. You can play as a casual and enjoy it. You can play as a hardcore and enjoy it. And I want that so badly for Tarkov. Like, you know what I mean? Just like, they're just like, as like, so yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not, that's why I've been watching Rust, is because I know I'll never get it in Tarkov. But like, there's just so many creators that are just like these hour-long videos where it's like they set out to do this goal. Like, I'm going to build this way. So in Rust, it's interesting. There's like, there's obviously heavy like mod support and stuff like that. And like you can create your own servers with your own rules and with different populations or whatever. And sometimes those servers wipe. But then there's also something called force wipe, where all of the servers in Rust wipe on this day. All of them. It's just like, this is force wipe. It's like the wipe day in Tarkov. And so like a lot of times people will just be like, okay, it's force wipe. I want to do this. I want to build like a super efficient base as a solo that can defend against these squads, or this, or mine this resource, or whatever. And it's just like, it's so cool to be able to see the stated goal, the big stated goal, where everything you watch them do, they're moving towards that goal. But then within that, you get the little mini dopamine hits where like in a game like that, because what you've said before, what you would love in Tarkov, where the ability to die and then get back into that server, because of that, you get these like, death isn't as big of a deal. You know what I mean? Because when you die, it's like you die. But like the little mini...
Where do you respawn in Rust?
So like anywhere you have a sleeping bag. So you can craft them and place them anywhere. Or if you have like a main base, you put it in there. But
so if they're raiding you and you're defending it, you'll spawn like not far from where you died?
Inside, yeah. Inside your base sometimes, yeah. But
so
like,
as a solo, you can fend off a team technically.
You could, yes,
dying.
If you know how, if you're good at the game. And so like, just that ability to get an overarching storyline, and what keeps you going is these mini storylines. Is of like, oh, I'm trying to go do this thing, and I need this component, and it's really rare, and I grind and I farm for it, and then I found it, and I died on the way back. But those guys suck. I know I can get them if I spawn by this sleeping bag. I know I have this loot stashed here. You can create loot stashes and bury loot. And be like, I can get this bow. Like, these guys suck. I can get it. And then boom, you win. And so you get the big story and these little stories continuously. And it's just like,
dude, you have to send me like the best video.
Sick. This is so sick. Yeah, I got to find a really good one to send it to you. But it's just like, and then these guys, they edit them really well. It's always like super chill music and like, but in the intense moments. And it's just good, man. It's just like entertaining. And so like, I won't really have a huge desire to play Rust at all. I've only played it once in my life. But the videos are just like entertaining and make me wish that Tarkov had that emerging gameplay.
I miss like classic Rust, OG Rust. I don't even know what you call it. I played Rust way back in the beginning. Totally different vibe.
When it was like a survival game, like a proper like it was a different. I mean, it's still a survival game, but it was like it was a completely different game back in the day.
Did you ever play it back when, like, I remember I fought like one player ever, and most of the things I killed were like, there was like a bear, like a red bear.
Yeah, I mean, like there's bears in
like
Rust.
An infected, I don't even know how to. Yeah, wolves too. Wolves. I just remember I remember there was one area that was like this irradiated thing, and I remember going in there and like, God, those are the days. Yeah, Legacy Rust is what it's called, way back in the day, and I can barely even like picture.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been so long. It was back when I like first started to get into PC gaming. I think.
I mean, Rust has been around for a while, dude.
2013, 2014. Holy, it's been almost a decade.
Yeah, Rust has been around for a long time, so. But that's been my YouTube just for entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, that's been the rabbit hole I've been going down. It's just watching Rust videos. I did the same thing with DayZ, where I started with JLK and then I started watching everybody's, and I like went down that rabbit hole and watched hours and hours and hours of DayZ story driven content, and I just fell down the same one in Rust.
Dude, I hope they change this at some point soon. I hope enough people are annoyed as much as I am. I hate that there's YouTube Shorts in my subscriptions feed. I don't want to watch. If I'm looking at my sub feed and it's all shorts, I don't want to watch them. Like it's why I'm scared to post shorts, because I get so annoyed by shorts in my sub feed.
Yeah.
Like there should be a shorts sub feed.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. There's 24 videos right now on the main top thing. And a third to half of them are shorts.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're channels I want to watch. I just don't want the shorts. You know,
yep.
I don't want to have to scroll down 2 pages to see that like Veritasium posted the first video he posted in 3 months, right? Because like Hikaru, who I watched for chess stuff, puts out 19 shorts in a day.
I've literally never a single time until just now clicked on the subscription feed. That's the first time I ever did in my entire life.
Oh, see, like all my bookmarks for YouTube, it takes me to my subscription feed.
I should.
Although now, these days, I've flip-flopped and I've gone to now I just click on home.
Yeah.
And I just go to see what you recommended me, because
that's what I do, yeah.
My sub feed has just become a wasteland, dude. There's like almost nothing. I find stuff that I want to watch that I'm from my subscriptions in my home feed before I do in my sub feed.
Yeah, it should.
It's
They should
this
absolutely.
person put a video out yesterday. I never saw it.
They should absolutely separate that, and you should have a sub feed for shorts and a sub feed for main. Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a setting. I don't think there is. Manage. Maybe there is now. Nope. It just takes you to your entire sub feed, and I'm sub to 800 billion.
Yeah.
Bajillion people.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the stuff.
Hostess.
That's the good stuff. Hostess. Yeah, I literally said that's the stuff, and I was like, isn't that like that's the stuff. That's the Tarkov shenanigans. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks for your thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for being a part of the podcast, fam. As per usual, this will go live. I sent the other one out early last week because of the technical difficulties. I'm actually going out of town tomorrow, and I won't be back until Sunday, so this will not be going live early. This one will come on Monday, like normal. But thank you guys for hanging, and we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Peace.